Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, it's perfect.
Okay. Thank you for organizing this, and this is my privilege to speak what I have been learning, continuously learning, what is going on around the world, and what may be the future. So, based on the suggestion, the title I have given this one, Global Perspective of Aquaculture Business Development Trend. So these are the outline topics. So basically, I'll be looking at some of the trends and consumptions, and then species-wise, and what type of systems, new development going on around the world. So basically, what I always think and suggest others to relate to your activities to these problems communities are suffering. For example, poverty. This is not only particular to one country. Every country has these problems: malnutrition, health, and food security, and job, lack of job or shortage. And especially these will be more critical when this COVID-19 lockdown will start lifting. Then people will be coming around here and there. Until now, they are maybe in many countries they are in the room, so they don't create problem. But in USA there is problem already. How many million people will be losing the job? Like in USA, they are expecting something like 50 million people. In Thailand, about 14 million people may lose job. So imagine the situation in the coming ahead. And education, many people are not getting education because of the lack of income or some other obstacles. And also gender point of view, also there are a lot of problems. Especially in South Asia, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, we have a big problem of malnutrition under 5. Almost all the, like 50% of the people are suffering one way or another malnutrition problem. But special critical is like children, something like 45 up to 45% children are having malnutrition problem, stunting especially. And the basic thing is like especially in South Asia, we think milk is complete food for the children, but not necessarily, because milk has 97% water and 1 or 2% protein. If we make our children dependent on only milk and rice all the time, every day, that will be a problem. I think that has a long-term effect. Basic stunting comes from there. If we are not giving some additional protein at least once or twice a week or whatever, if possible maybe once a day, at least one meal with some other milk or other protein, like even milk, egg yolk, let's say, or it can be pulses or anything. But we are not giving. Many parents are not actually understanding the value of nutrition. Like UNDP and some other organizations are promoting now. First 1,000 days is very important for children, for their growth, mental and physical growth. So basically, when we adults are eating so many items of food, but children cannot eat so many things like that. That's why children get disease very easily. Like a milk also doesn't have vitamin C, so vitamin C protects from many diseases. So how can we make sure children do not get disease is a real challenge. So in Thailand, seafood market is open. They wear only mask and go around. So here, malnutrition is because of the, let's say, protein malnutrition is a critical one. And FAO is promoting, FAO and other organizations, they are saying maybe in the future, maybe we have to eat these insects. Insects food, insect protein, also equally maybe nutritious compared to fish or whatever. But I don't know how many people will accept eating insect as a regular diet. I asked this question in Pakistan. Only one person raised the hand out of 300 people in the audience. So it's not easily acceptable. From our point of view, we have many species in the water. So I think about 10 million something animals are available, and probably 90% or over, they are in the water actually. So a lot of species are unutilized or under, let's say, unexplored. So exploring is going on all the time. Nobody knows which species comes, as a next source of protein for the people. So here you can see shellfish, finfish, shellfish, a lot of things. Just 10 years ago, we didn't know about sea cucumber. So now sea cucumber is one of the highest, price food item that comes from the bottom of the sea, or it can be cultured now. Similarly, this mantis shrimp, uh, first time I saw actually in Vietnam, Cat Ba area, when we were going there, they were keeping like alive and then selling. So I was surprised, what is this animal? Now this animal is available in many countries, but still there is no breeding or farming system developed yet. Technologies need to be developed. So in the future, there may be many more species coming. So there are plenty of opportunities to explore in terms of the animal protein source. So we don't need to eat maybe just an insect like a field cricket or something. And many people may not know, even in the world just now, aquatic food coming from the sea or river or lakes, whatever, is the highest in terms of volume that we consume every year. So million ton, 158 million ton every year we are eating, and many people think chicken may be the first, actually not. So this is the problem. And similarly pork, beef is even less. So when you talk about human resource, you'll see so many people working in poultry industry or pork or beef, but aquatic food or seafood sector is actually lagging behind in terms of human resource when it comes to making a budget in the country. How many people working? Maybe fisheries is somewhere at the corner, dark place, and fish is considered like a pretty very ranks very at the bottom in terms of item among the food security items, like rice may come first in many Asian countries, then wheat, whatever, and then meat items come after that, and fish is actually at the end. But when you look at it from global point of view, the highest amount of animal protein we are getting from the aquatic food. So we have to highlight these things to make our voices heard, so that policymakers will put plan and then budget for this sector. Okay, and then also you can compare easily here. The fish is actually consumed more in Asia, like in China, you can see here, um, way more than chicken. And then pig meat is probably number one in China. And then also in Japan, you see seafood, and Indonesia. These are just examples from Asia. Many countries eating more seafood or fish or shellfish. And Australia, United States, they are eating, let's say, beef, chicken, and fish is less. And 90% of the seafood, even in USA, even exported. Okay, 90% is imported from Asia and Latin America. So imagine they know seafood is better. They like the seafood, but only thing is they cannot produce and they have to import, and it's expensive. That's why they cannot eat more. So imagine if they can produce and have either produce or buy cheaper at cheaper price, then their consumption may increase like this. And Chinese are eating more and more nowadays, even importing from Vietnam, Ecuador, even from India. I think shrimp is going China now. Similarly, imagine if Australians eat more seafood, and then America also consume more seafood than beef. What will happen? Demand will be huge. So we have to look at that point of view. This was from Nepal. Recently, I was trying to see what is going on. Is recent data that available for 2016-17. Buffalo comes actually number one in terms of volume. So based on this government data, and fish is about this one, which is higher than goat and chicken. But when it comes to the government programs, budget, everything comes for more for goat, chicken, something like that. That's why problem is here. Priority has not been given by the government. This may be the situation in some countries, relatively compared to other subsector, agriculture subsector. It is not getting enough. That's why I'm trying to highlight this one so that they understand. They see the data. Some people say, okay, chicken is more, but we don't know that this is based on the government data anyway. So this is the situation. Probably some other countries also have happening the same. So how can we highlight? We have to show the data. Data will tell them this is the situation. So the reason why people are eating buffalo is like it is very cheap, and then they eat mostly this momo, which is very cheap. That's why people commonly get protein from there. But again, it's still buffalo, 80% buffalo or more maybe actually imported from India. So I don't know whether during this lockdown they are bringing or not. If not, what will happen is the protein malnutrition may be huge if the buffalo is not there for common people. And the question is, why not fish? Compared to fish and goat meat. Goat meat is about probably 3 or 4 times higher in price, but still people prefer goat meat in India, in some part of India, even in Bangladesh, I think in Pakistan, Nepal also, goat meat is preferred. People are ready to buy like even paying 3 times or 4 times higher price. That means we are not successful in convincing the people fish is better than any red meat. We know, but we maybe not, we are not able to convince other people, common people. Okay, that's why the fisheries professionals, we need to think about how can we convince the people, if they buy fish, they can buy at least 3 kilo from the price of 1 kilo goat. And if you look at the goat meat has a fat which is not good for health, and also has actually a lot of bone, and then also skin. Ultimately, amount of protein people get is very little. So people eat not for the health, people are eating for the taste, what they like, that's the problem. So science should lead in terms of human health, and also economics should work. So we have a role to play here to convince the common people, especially poor people. They have to maximize their money value of money to buy what they should decide. Either they don't eat any meat, or they eat fish is better than expensive goat meat. Although people may not like every day eating fish, a few days that's fine. But the question is, their let's say family or children health is deteriorated if they are not eating enough protein. If they can eat, instead of 1 kilo, one meal a week, they could afford maybe 3 or 4 meals of fish. So that's the question. How can we make the people convinced? Although in Nepal, the aquaculture is recently growing fast. It was slow growth earlier based on the government data. After 2010, it is growing fast, and we are expecting that this should go faster. this is globally, people are moving from red meat to white meat. White meat is better for health, and then seafood. So like in America or Japan, Canada, beef consumption is declining, and many people are moving to white meat, from red to white meat, and then ultimately actually seafood. And some people may like also vegetarian, to be vegetarian. So seafood is cheap in many cases, especially in Asia where we produce, and also people are becoming more, health conscious, and then also middle class. Middle class people are increasing in many countries in Asia, especially like in China. Many people became middle class. That's why they are buying more seafood. So seafood demand is skyrocketing in China. Similarly, similar thing may happen in India slowly, like where billion people are there, even 10% people eat seafood will be huge. Um, and this is how people are trying to compare nowadays, environmental people. This was from Zurich University, where they saw how weighty in terms of environmental cost. Like beef is very heavy, means heavy cost is there on the environment. Even chocolate is quite heavy because it comes from Africa, so transportation cost, some other things. And then they compare like this, environmental point of view, which is less costly. And they didn't have actually fish there. Then I asked them to put fish somewhere. So fish may be lighter than many other things. And you'll be surprised, even KFC one time, I had a very strange experience. KFC was trying to sell fish item as a test in Future Park nearby AIT. So KFC, basically Kentucky Fried Chicken, means they are supposed to sell only chicken, but I think they see opportunity in fish, selling fish, because it's healthier. So nobody knows what will happen later. Imagine if KFC also starts selling fish item, like McDonald's is doing that. And they compare also based on the land requirement, because land is let's say limited. Per kilo food of animal or plants, they try to compare. So beef came like a very high in terms of land, like a per kilo is 30 meters square. After that, pork, chicken, eggs, and then vegetables, fruits, less. And we also calculate like fish. Fish you can grow in a small area, like in RAS system, which may need only 20 square meter, 20 kilo you can produce like a per square meter. So which is very, very small area. If we do that way, and even in the pond, it will not require that much. So people are trying to compare this way. Similarly, water use. So beef, 1 kilo beef means it requires like a 15,000 kilo of, let's say, liter of water. That means if you go to the market and if you choose beef, what that means, you are going to spend 15,000 liter right in a meal, for a meal. That's why people compare this way. Similarly, goat, pig, even chicken is something like a 4,000 liter to produce 1 kilo chicken. So this is not our data. This is data from some environmental organizations. So they compare this way, and then actually fish came quite very low, something like a 500 liter per kilo fish produced. Because fish live in the water. Fish requires water, but fish will not drink the water like animal drinks every day, every hour, let's say. So that's the point, okay? So people are looking from land utilization, water utilization, and then FCR, like a fish FCR is like a 1.1 kilo in an average. Sometimes if you produce in green water, even we don't need to give even feed much. Chicken, pig, cattle. So beef is so huge. That's why beef industries has been discouraged around the world because of the environmental issue. Okay, and then fish or aquaculture has been highlighted actually recently. So if you look at the world, and they are looking at the Asian countries where people are, very familiar with the culture systems, because since thousands of years, like 3,000, 4,000 years ago, China, India, they had already fish culture in ponds. Um, so at the moment, farming is increasing because fish catch in the wild is declining. So most of the Asian countries are giving so much emphasis on farming. So recently, Indonesia has become second to China and then India. So out of 10 top countries, total fish production is coming from Asian countries. So Russia, USA, this includes catch and culture both, and Chile. So except three, all 7 countries coming from Asia. And the business is going big scale. China is top exporter, about $20 billion they are earning from selling seafood, and followed by Norway, Vietnam, India, EU. So if you look at this one here, Norway focuses on mainly salmon. Vietnam main item is pangasius. They sell all over the world. Just one species. India mainly shrimp and some other species also. Chile also is mainly from the Norwegian companies selling the salmon. And Thailand has a combination of different things, shrimp and other things. And importing countries, combining all the EU countries, EU 28, tops the list, more than billion dollar per year, followed by USA, Japan, and China. China is increasing. Probably within few years, China may become number one for import also. They export also, they import also. And among the countries, Maldives has the highest fish consumption rate per capita per year, and followed by other Asian countries mostly. And many European countries, America, they are very low. And here, Maldives is the one having highest, even though it's a small country, but compared to other countries, developed countries, all are dwarf compared to Maldives. Imagine if all the countries are eating seafood like Japan, all the developed countries, Australia, USA, France, their demand will be huge because they have to increase their total production or import by 3 times or 2 times at least. That means demand will be huge. And basically they are eating more red meat or like a beef and then pork. Especially in Europe, is a pork is more, Australia and USA more beef. So if they eat more fish, then the fish demand will be huge. That's why many investors around the world, governments are giving more money for this sector. Imagine this happens like this. In Europe, they consume pork 46 kilogram per person per year, whereas fish is half of that. But if they have fish available, it should be opposite. Maybe they may like to eat more seafood, but seafood is expensive in Europe. That's why the problem is cost. And they have problem is they cannot produce themselves. That's why they have to import. And here also you can see a relative supply of animal protein through different animals. Let's say here seafood is already higher than others, and all are actually increasing because of the nature of people. If they become richer, they start eating more proteinous diet, animal meat, or whatever animal. Even pork is increasing, eggs increasing, Beef is still increasing, but in total, but not that much. So you can see the clear difference. Um, sorry. So this is pork, this is chicken, and then this is fish. You can see seafood is still projected to be higher than others. And this is basically due to the population increment. Population is increasing faster and faster. Before 1800, 10,000 years, last 10,000 years, population was below 1 billion. Just last 200 years time, population is increasing every billion in certain and shorter time. So to reach another 1 billion, increase another 1 billion, it's only very few years, something like that here. And here, even faster, like 14 years. Here, so every billion, even 12 years time, about 12, 13 years time, 1 billion people have been added. That is the reason you need more food and more protein. That's why people are worried, and FAO is saying maybe we have to eat insects. This is based on FAO Department Fisheries, Fisheries Inland Department. Estimated that in Asia alone, there will be nearly 30 million seafood will be in short supply, and globally 51 million nearly. So this is the situation. And if you look at the trade among all the food items, agricultural items, from developing countries to developed countries, we're exporting. Seafood is number one already, and more important is it is increasing, almost doubling every 10 years time. Every 10 years time it is doubling. So this is the trend, what we are expecting, seafood consumption increasing and then production increasing. The problem is the developed world like a UK, France, Japan, Germany, they all tried aquaculture because fisheries declined since 1950s, 40s, something like that. Then they started developing farming. But farming, okay, at the beginning, 1980s to sometime it increased, okay? But they could not sustain, even decline, because the cost of land, cost of labor, cost of everything is very, very high in those developed countries. That's why their policy is to help developing countries produce more seafood and then buy from them cheaper. That's why European Union, USAID, all these countries are helping seafood sector to develop in Asia, even in Africa or Latin America, so that they can buy at cheaper prices. Just for example here, this was in Zurich, Switzerland. This Pangasius, they say this is although like a bio, that means similar to organic, let's say, is about $20. Franc and dollar is almost same now. $28 per kilo, which is only $4 in Thailand, and Vietnam probably even cheaper. So this fish, if it goes to Europe, it is 7 times higher in price. But this is still cheaper than beef, still cheaper than salmon. That's why Asian seafood, for example, Pangasius is one of the best, cheapest one, has a high quality standard, everything. That's why Vietnam is exporting nearly 90% of their production to Europe and many other countries at really cheap price, earning nearly 2 billion, 1.9 billion or something dollar per year. It goes up and down, but that's the level, nearly producing 1.2 million ton per year. Just one fish, commercially developed highly. And overall aquaculture, China, Indonesia is the one probably fastest one. And then Vietnam also, Thailand. Most of the Asian countries have this growth. But the aquaculture is a very recent one. It has only last 30 or 40 years history only, and genetic improvement not much happening. Whereas chicken, cattle already started a long time ago. That's why this genetic improvement and other culture system improvement is ongoing now. People are talking about blue revolution. So this is when it happens, then fish production will be more and more. So that is the reason you can see many governments are giving a lot of funding in aquaculture or fisheries. For example, USA, even because of this COVID-19, and they have to give even more. Like USA is talking about $19 billion in fisheries aquaculture sector as a relief fund from this COVID-19, because 90% seafood used to come from other countries. Now everything is stopped. So I don't know what people are eating now. Whatever they get, they will eat. And similarly, these fisheries aid was already there, $300 million. And Pakistan had a project like $86 million. And I think Oman had even $55 billion project. Imagine Oman, oil-rich country. India recently has announced $2.6 billion. That include the part of the COVID-19 relief fund also. So this is quite huge, I think, compared to previous budgets. And India is giving a lot of emphasis on fisheries and aquaculture now, understanding the value of export, which was not there. That didn't happen because in the past they focused on carp. Carp didn't have much export. Now they are focusing on shrimp, and then also tilapia. Even pangasius is there. Um, and EU also supporting many Asian countries as well as European countries. Some of the examples you can see here. These are just examples. There are many countries have this type of budgets. Every country has something. And also private sector investment is coming. For example, companies imagine investing like $1 billion here. Even a CP company of Thailand having some investment in USA, like $1 billion investment just to increase the shrimp sale. They are planning actually shrimp farming in USA. Imagine, because if they farm shrimp in USA, they can distribute like a live shrimp that cost higher. So they are planning already. Imagine. And then also another Thai Union is another company which is also investing this much in feed company. They already have like a shrimp processing and many other, one of the I think biggest company in Thailand for seafood export and processing and export. Similarly, other companies in China, even Alibaba is investing, like you can see, 100 million, 142 million yuan, 1 billion yuan. This is dollar. So this type of investment going on. Even in Scottish salmon, where they do mostly salmon, $200 million, something like that. Salmar company. This is uh, Salmon Marine. There are many companies, salmon companies like Marine Harvest, Salmar. There are many other companies investing like millions of dollars. They are investing in aquaculture, seeing the potential or scope for business around the world. Imagine salmon is coming even everywhere in the world. Even when I went to East Timor, which is a small country, recently established in 2005 or 8 or something, but they have salmon there even. So these are the things going on now. And what is going on in terms of systems, I'll just cover a little bit by one. Uh, Pond culture is well done, well established since long ago, without feeding or some green water system. India, Nepal, these even big ponds are there, but mainly producing carbs. In China also, they are producing carbs, grass carp, tilapia now, and also pond culture is small scale. Even we had small projects in Nepal. These first we tried in a plain area close to India, and then we started moving and testing in a little bit higher hills, and it worked, I think, well. Some of the farms may be still there. Combining with the livestock here, so urine comes here to fertilize the pond. So this was the idea to test, and also some people had like a pig and then fish pond underneath. This is in Vietnam. You can see people try to utilize every piece of land because government gives around 4,000 square meter per family to survive, and many people had rice at the beginning, but rice did not give enough income to support whole family. That's why this area was converted to fish farm, and then also vegetable and food combining together, so that they can earn many, more money from selling fish, ducks, vegetables, and fruits together. So people try to integrate many subsector. So we have to look at aquaculture not as a separate thing. We have to look at from a farming system point of view. So what farmers can do, combining and utilizing every piece of land. That's how they want to do, not just aquaculture only. For example, cow, they may grow even a small scale family level, fruits and vegetables, and also combining pigs with the pond, fish pond, and sometimes chicken. Although these systems are a little bit problem at the moment. If you want to export to Europe, they will not accept it. They think you're feeding chicken excreta or pig manure to the fish, but actually it's not. Those manures, fertilize the pond, and then pond becomes green. That means you have a phytoplankton, zooplankton for the fish to eat. So this is indirect way living together. And still, you can see big ponds in Myanmar. When we fly from the plane, also you can see before landing. And also in some part of Thailand, it still exists big fish ponds and with the chicken houses. Each chicken house may have like a 4,000 chickens, broiler, or it can be layers even. So in some countries they don't accept, some countries they are still okay. And combining with the vegetables, so many types. This is in Bangladesh, in Nepal also, some doing agriculture together, utilizing the land space because land is expensive and limited. And Bangladesh is actually a very good example. You can see vegetables are grown above the pond. Bangladesh also has a limited land for the poor people. Here, what they do, the fertile soil, bottom soil, they put on top of the dike, and then they grow vegetables like tomatoes, some other vegetables. So this is a very good example how to utilize every square meter of this space. And recently, this Indonesia is showing a lot of result here with the red tilapia with the rice. So rice doesn't get affected by the fish, but maybe even improve. I think some of the data show maybe 10% increment in the production of rice. But additional fish will give additional income, which is way ahead, way a lot than the income from rice. So if 10%, 1% of rice field can be utilized for growing fish, the fish production will be huge. So time may come to utilize these things, consider these things. In the past, they have a little bit of bad experience about rice farming, especially in China, and Chinese people are saying they had a problem because fish in the rice field is not considered like belong to the owner of the land. It's like a wild fish, and anybody can come and catch. That's why the suggestion is, if the rice field close to the house, you can take care even in the night, then that place is suitable for rice farming, and do the proper, making deeper part where fish can survive even when there is a drought condition. So this may come in the future. So we work out I work out one time, even 2% of rice field, not converting, but inserting the fish inside the rice plot would double the production of fish. So maybe we have to try this one in the future, or as soon as possible, so that rice farmers understand the value of fish. Only question is pesticide use. So for the pesticide use, we have to make sure they don't use pesticide in that corner, or even it may be helpful to promote organic farming of rice farming, so that people will not use so much pesticide. This is pond culture is growing like this in Thailand. You can see this is from the plane, huge area, Chachangsha, Chonburi, near Bangkok airport area. You can see huge area covered by fish ponds. They do a lot of farming of sea bass, even in the pond, and also shrimp. This is near the sea. Also, they grow crabs, tilapia, many others. And this is in Indonesia. You can see they were given like a one for one house, and a whole village live with the survive with the pond. So not necessarily you need a big ponds, but just one pond, two ponds per family, it can be helpful. Suppose if there are any landless people that government is going to distribute the land, but the land is limited, in that case, they should choose which subsector gives the highest profit. So in that case, fish may come one of the highest and then easiest to do compared to rice or vegetables or any others. Quick also. So in China, you can see recently what they are trying to develop is solar power, because you have a huge area of pond area and then it's empty. So you cannot have a trees there. Instead, if you have a solar panels and the sunlight from in between those space also is enough for the phytoplankton, and a fish is still, you can grow fish here, but at the same time you can produce a lot of solar power. So you can see 120 megawatt just from the one farm. So they are planning even more and more, and they are selling, connecting to the main grid, and selling to the government. So this may come in many countries like this, bigger scale. Imagine, so aquaculture also has a big potential, whereas above rice field you may not be able to do that because you need a sunlight. And cage culture, I'm talking about system-wise. Pond culture has a potential to integrate many other things, livestock, and then chicken. And now cage culture. This is a canal in Thailand. In the canal, they do a lot of cage culture. If the water is running, if water is not running, then you are not allowed to do cage culture here, because it will not flush out, and the nutrient will accumulate and build up, can be difficult for the fish farmers themselves. Whereas here, farmers do not oppose also, because if the aquaculture fish farmers are not using any antibiotics or any chemicals, only fear is some farmers may get afraid, but if they see how they are growing, all the same farmers doing aquaculture as well as rice farming other side, so they know each other. Aquaculture is not harming the water, or making the water dirty or detrimental. And even in the small lakes and reservoirs, they are allowed to do cage culture. Like this is a house, a farmer can live here, and very nice pristine water. So they know how much it can carrying capacity you can work out, and then allow cage culture in small lakes and reservoirs also. So in many countries there are reservoirs under development because of the electricity power generation. So you have plenty of space to promote cage culture. So in Bangladesh, they didn't have in the past, they didn't have any cage culture, but after some people came here for training, and then they started, and it is expanding. And cage culture in Vietnam is expanding already since long ago. They have a big scale. This is in Mekong River in Thailand. This is Laos. One cage produces about 1 ton. 1 ton gives approximately net profit is $1,000. That's how I try to teach during our training program. You can calculate based on the need or your expectation. If you are expecting $20,000 net profit per year or per crop, then you need a 20 kgs. So if you want 100,000, then that means you have a higher expectation. So you have to be able to manage 100 kgs. So for some farmers here, they have 200 kgs. Some of the farmers, even I have seen in some other countries, even in Africa, like a 600 kgs, okay, managing 600 kgs by a single company or single manager. Yeah, this is Mekong River in Vietnam. This guy is the manager. He has 100 kgs of this size. This is quite big. And stocking density is very, very high, 100 tilapia per meter cube. So we work out, they are selling 4 to 5 ton per day, and then one case is 20 ton capacity. So we work out roughly $4,000 net profit they are making, sorry, revenue they are making. So if even one third net profit, it is still huge. More than $1,000 per day net profit is good for the farmer. So managing just these cages, feeding. And this is cage culture in Indonesia, where this Regal Spring is a American company. Actually, I found later that the guy was actually Swiss. The company is registered in USA and doing cage culture in Indonesia. 90% tilapia is exported to USA. And this company has earned so much now, and they have started a farm in Mexico so that they can send tilapia directly to USA, live or fresh tilapia. So their expectation is $300 million per year revenue from aquaculture company. Okay, so this is the scale going on. And recently, India also giving a lot of reservoirs on lease. Before, this one was government station, so it was for the extension or research purpose. But they see more potential if they give on lease to the private company. So one private company is taking lease many lakes and reservoirs to produce more pangasius and tilapia. They are focusing now. Um, Cage culture, carp also can be done, but low density. That's why profit can be a questionable. That's why they are doing tilapia and pangasius. You can see in China they use huge cages. People live on the here. Houses are there, so you have a house also. You have a cage also underneath. So if the people are landless in some countries, then government can give one case and one house above the case to live. So they can live also, they can make a profit also. And also, these are actually some fishermen also, they can catch fish also. The fish they catch daily basis, they can earn for a living. And the fish they grow in the cages, they can sell one time or two times, whatever. But big lot, that can be useful for buying land or whatever. So aquaculture helps a lot in terms of earning money. Cage culture also can be a little bit of problem in some places. Some countries don't allow. Some countries if they are doing like a heavy high density, like in something happened in Tal Lake in Philippines, many fish died because of overcrowding of the cages. So in that case, where people have bigger ponds, big ponds and deeper ponds, like if they have more than 2 meter deep, that deepest part they can go fish in cages, so that they can have like a different size fish, so they can sell different days. So these systems can be very useful for farmers who have a big ponds, like I've been suggesting in India, where they have big ponds in Andhra Pradesh. They can grow tilapia here, and then carps are there as usual. So production of carp will not be affected. Same thing can happen in any other countries. Offshore culture is cage culture of many species, not only a few, especially marine species have been tried already, like in Taiwan, many countries, like a sea bass, using these circular cages, which are used for salmon culture in Norway and Scotland and Canada. So these are now available anywhere in the world. In Africa, they use to grow tilapia in tropical countries. So actually, they were trying for sea bass in Thailand to use this big scale. Some of these cases in salmon companies, something like a 15-meter diameter, and they stock like 100,000, 150,000 fingerlings in each case. Some cases are like a 28, sorry, something like 15-meter deep, 10 to 15-meter deep, and then they use camera, underwater camera, so they can see if fish are eating or not, or any fish are dead or not, something like that. So cage culture is growing bigger and bigger. So this is recently designed by something like this Salmon, means salmon marine the European name comes like that, shortcut. They are planning like a single case to produce 3,000 ton single case. So they actually use maybe some compartment for small baby fish, bigger and bigger, something like that. I have seen in a land-based design tank system. So same thing they are designing here for the case. So they will move to a little bit deeper part. So this has been designed for Taiwan. Imagine Taiwan is doing huge in terms of aquaculture, especially for export, domestic as well as export market. Also, many people are many companies that I think Salma are also doing underwater, because people are saying if you have a case culture, they'll see and then they complain. Environmentalists will complain, oh, there is a pollution. So instead of having case culture above the water, if you have a cases under the water and then reasonable stocking density, you are putting just enclosure only, but you grow fish with a limited feed. In looks like a natural condition. So many people are saying, water we have is 75% water is covering the earth, so you have plenty of space to grow. Only question is not the near the city, but away from offshore, means away maybe like a 10 kilometer away from the coast. Also, tank system, recircular system, you can do easily. Simple fiberglass or whatever. I think those who do not have enough land to build upon, then this type of backyard system should be easier. So even complete air conditioning system, even like having a light, transparent sheet here, and exhaust fan, so you have a full control of environmental situation like the temperature and then humidity. So this is in Thailand just for the nursing of tilapia they are using. So this is all about the managing things. If the profit comes from here, this investment is for the long term. So this building can be utilized maybe hundreds of years, 100 years maybe. So first time may be expensive, but later on it may give fruit, because you have better control of temperature, humidity, everything. So that's why aquaponics now um, maybe uh, having a better scope, because people are locked down, and in the backyard they can utilize the space for the for growing vegetables and fish together. So they can have like a organic food or without pesticide, because if the pesticide is used for the vegetable, fish will die. That's why aquaponics is some sort of certification for the organic farming, and it can be done in a small area and in greenhouse, where tunnel farming for potato tomatoes they are doing already. So it can be introduced, and even solar power can be integrated with that, instead of if electricity is not there. So some countries in Africa, they are trying these things. So this may be for the food security point of view. If you have a vegetables and if you have a fish that can support, and carbohydrate like a bread or rice can be cheaper to buy, um, but vegetable and these things are. And aquaponics is actually coming big way, especially rich countries like Singapore. They said more than 90% food is imported from other countries, Thailand or Malaysia. They are worried in the future if something happens like this, and if these countries are not exporting any food, what will happen? Singaporeans will die. So what they are doing, government is promoting agriculture and aquaculture, aquaponics in a high-rise buildings. So you can see a high-rise building aquaponics system is easy to control everything. So and also UAE, those countries where the soil is not good and water is not there, but here they can control everything. So this may come, this is coming big way. The main thing is investment cost. Investment cost, some big companies or government is supporting, and if the initial cost is supported, running cost can be cheaper. And recently, Biofloc is coming. I don't know how many people are trying this, and some people say fail, some people say It works. It has been aggressively promoted by Indonesia actually, and also recently in India. So the basic principle came from Israel. Israeli scientist Yoram said um, the ammonia that in the RAS system we try to take this out or convert to nitrite and nitrate. But if we add carbon source here, carbon will convert this into microbial protein, and microbial protein can be utilized by the shrimp and fish itself, so that this nitrogenous waste will not be um, wasted or no need to thrown away, so it can be utilized. That's why this Biofloc system came. I think Israeli scientists, they did research and under control condition, because they have everything there, like 24 hours electricity. So the system was very much, aggressively promoted, and they were growing shrimp as well as tilapia at high densities. You can see huge, very high density. Even I saw in Iran, they are doing in a big scale at high density, 100 fish per square meter, something like that. But you need a heavy aeration, because fish also need oxygen, and also those microbial microbes also need huge amount of oxygen. That's a 24 hours oxygen, heavy oxygen. If electricity cuts off just for maybe 30 minutes, then everything will die. That's why you have to have a backup generator, otherwise it may not work. And also the pH level and so many other water quality parameters have to be controlled. But some people are doing successfully. This is about the science. People need to understand the temperature, salinity, pH, like alkalinity, total dissolved solid, all these things. Those who understand and control quickly, manipulate quickly, then it's possible to do. Otherwise, it can be problem. Pond, even in the pond culture, they are doing like this using liner. This is shrimp farming. Liner even underneath, and a heavy aeration by the aerators as well as from other sources like air stones. So things are coming, because shrimp had a problem of disease, and then they tried to find new system. And recently they are calling aqua mimicry in Thailand. Biofloc word came from Israel, and then they tried here that same Biofloc, but with additional things like probiotics, use of probiotics, and also fermented rice bran instead of molasses. In Biofloc, they say they use molasses as a carbon source, but here they use rice bran, but fermented one. Fermented means already there are some probably some sort of bacteria, like a lactic acid bacteria, some other bacteria are already there, and they help digestion or formation of those flocks, bacterial flocks, and that can be a source of food. It can be plankton, phytoplankton, zooplanktons, both. And recently IPRS system is coming. IPRS means in pond raceway system. This was done in Auburn University in USA. And then it has been promoted by American Soybean Association around the world, in China, in Pakistan, in Thailand also. So what this means, you create a raceway system inside the pond, building concrete structures here. So you have a wheel here. So you use a wheel to move the water like a fast way, so that you can stock fish use like a high density. Okay, this is a raceway system, but in the pond. So you recycle the water this way. Suppose the water comes here by the wheel, paddle, and then water comes in the pond from here back here. So there is a settlement area, and then clean water comes back again. Then fish will get all the time new water, let's say clean water. So at high density, and then running water, fish like, all the fish like running water, so their growth can be higher. As much as you feed here, and it flushes out also all the waste material. That's why this system inside tank remains really good. That's why the productivity of this system has increased by just dividing area in terms of area only, but you have actually additional area of the pond. So this system has been tried in Pakistan. When I visited last year, so a couple of farms have tried this one. They were just building this one. So result will come recently. I think results are coming already from China and Vietnam. They say in China very successful. That's why Pakistani people are building, and then one Thai guy is testing this one. Not sure it will be successful in Thailand or not. But the idea looks good. But you have like electricity here, pumps for each wheel to send the water at high speed. So IPRS is just an example of a raceway system. What actually in Nepal we have already this trout farming, very clean water coming all the time because water is plenty here. That's why it's possible. But in the pond, in other places, maybe it can be difficult. That's why it is still under test. But the new technology, they are saying they are promoting it as a new technology. Now, maybe I'll take a little bit this one business side. What we need is a seed, feed, disease treatment or disease prevention or whatever. Water quality part we need to understand, and then system design should be correct, and then finally economics is the main thing to run as a business. So we'll see how it is going on in different species. Salmon is the one probably most widely distributed fish item, and then quite a high price as well. So Norway is earning, just focusing on salmon, and earning something like a $10 billion per year, which is huge compared to many other European countries are not doing much, except like Scotland is doing some, and then also some Canadians are doing in the north. And recently, China is interested to do this salmon because they see the potential, and people, demand for seafood in China is skyrocketing also. And some companies are trying land-based. Like in Europe, there is a concern. I think British Columbia of Canada, some group, environmentalist group, oppose that one, and then case culture in sea. Saying that cultured salmon will escape and then create a genetic problem, genetic mix up with the wild salmon, and then also disease transmission or something like that. Because of those things, environmentalist group oppose salmon farming in cases. That's why some companies, Danish companies, and some companies are developing land-based. So we just completely do land-based, maybe just pumping seawater. You need a cold water and then salty water. China may do this one because they do have cold water area. And it is a trend that even in Nepal, salmon import is increasing. So that means any country, salmon, some people maybe, elite group or some people like the salmon because it looks very nice, especially when children see the color is very nice because of the carotenoids. Even they use extra carotenoids like astaxanthin to increase the color. Okay, so this has some sort of niche market. Not necessarily everybody can eat every week, even maybe once in a while, but still market demand is huge. So like in Thailand, every supermarket has salmon, and it's quite expensive. They sell by 100 grams, sometimes like a probably $10 or something. So in some cases $100 per kilo, it goes up to that price level because of the transportation and some other cost. Now shrimp comes another business which was very profitable when there was a good time. Thailand was number one for last 20 years, but recently, few years, there is a disease problem. Thailand are number one in terms of export, not the production. Now India is number one. probably Vietnam number second. Um, when when I visited one farm, then I asked all these things. So farmer was earning something like a $40,000 to $50,000 per hectare per 6 months. And then not only 1 hectare, farmers usually have a bigger scale, like a 5 hectare, 10 hectare, something like that. So producing up to 20 ton. Imagine 1 kilo is something like a $5 to $10, depends on the size. So there is a very good timing, 1985 to 95. That is very good for shrimp. Many people used to earn like 100% profit. Means if they invest 1 million, they could get like a 2 million easily. That's why shrimp industry was very much boosted, and something like a 30-40,000 people are doing shrimp farming. But now it has come down maybe 10,000 or something because of the disease, high density culture. Yeah. So this goes up and down. First, Phineas Monodon was there until 95, 85, 80s to 95. About 15 years, it was a golden era. And then Monodon collapsed because of the virus. And then again, they brought this white shrimp from Hawaii. And then it worked another 15 years. So after 15 years, again, another disease called EMS, they call it early mortality syndrome, is coming, but they don't know why they are dying. So many farmers lost after this disease. And then some people are doing different systems, so it is recovering slowly, even globally. Some countries have disease first, and then other countries will get disease later somehow. Something like that is happening. So this I used to show my trainees. These guys came from Pakistan. We had like a 16 one time and 18 directors of different districts for training. And then shrimp farm, I took them to show the shrimp farm or hatchery. Then they were excited more when they see the Mercedes-Benz cars the farmer had. So not only one car, the farmer had like 10 cars, best cars in the world, Mercedes, Audi, BMW, all the best cars he had. Then that's why they were feeling so much regretted having director position in government and not having good car like that. So this is the way how aquaculture business grows, how aquaculture is growing in rural areas in Thailand. Some of the farmers, we could not work out how much this farmer was earning during the golden era, but some of the farmers like tilapia hatcheries, snakehead farm, good farms were earning $10,000 a day revenue. Imagine even if 1/3, 30% profit, that means $3,000 a day they could make net profit. So which business can give this much? So aquaculture is equally competitive if we can do properly, understanding the science. That's what I have been teaching my trainees. That's why they like the idea. They can see the result in the field. That's why they believe. That's why many people are coming for training from Africa, from even from Europe, Australia, America. People are coming for training. So because of these things, I try to connect with the farmers, what they are doing, how they are living. All these things I make them clear. So this is the way, if we can do some sort of education and training, linking with the farmers field. Farmers also are very cooperative. Some are not. Some farmers may not want to tell you everything, but some farmers are very happy to have students, and especially from foreign countries, they want to share their experience, something like that. So this one, this one, monodon and white stream I was talking about. When white stream had problem, early mortality syndrome, they try to find different way, especially like using recirculatory water system, not draining the water to the water system, and then also using tilapia in here. And tilapia actually takes some bacteria of the shrimp, and that can be helpful for shrimp. So they found this system. When I visited in Vietnam, I saw first time this system. And then in some farms, they do it separately. Tilapia here, shrimp here, then they exchange the water so that the bacteria of shrimp will be maybe eaten by tilapia or something like that. So farmers, they found themselves like a solution. So we have to learn from them and teach others. So that's how we try to do this. So when you look at each species wise, carp is also growing, salmon is also growing, tilapia, pangasius, all these commercially important species are all are growing. Now, when you look at each species wise, um, grass carp used to be top one, but now Nile tilapia is going bigger in terms of volume by each species. Nile tilapia means includes red tilapia that has a cross between Nile tilapia and others. So this is the situation. Different species are becoming more important. So nobody knows new fish may come all the time, not only one fish. And then the growth, some of the species have like exponential growth, you can see. So exponential growth, this is the growth area. That's why even people are in Silicon Valley in USA are talking about aquaculture as a potential investment, not only IT and IT all the time. Imagine IT doesn't give you food, but this seafood is, the demand for seafood is increasing all the time. It depends on the area where you are, but if you produce in one place, but you need to find where the demand is also, if it doesn't exist in your place. Yeah, fish. Now, the fish which was not originally from here is now number one. So you can find on the street vendors, you can find in a very highly, organized, well, in everywhere. Even sometimes people say, oh, I don't like this tilapia, but they say they like tilapia now. So things are changing. So this is the, even in Thailand, some people recently say, oh, I started, eating tilapia, something like that. So imagine in other countries where they never, it was never promoted. So like in India or Pakistan, that happened in Nepal also. So slowly people will like it. And the industry is growing and then becoming more segmented. What that means is a specialized unit. So hatcheries produce this size fry and sell monosex fry to nursing farmers. Hatcheries, they don't bother doing nursing and then further grow out, because hatchery is the most profitable part. Technical but profitable. Technical means not many people can do it, but if you can do it, you'll be pioneer and you grab the profit. And nursing is a little bit easier, but it's still more difficult than the grow out farming. So people do nursing. Smart farmers still do nursing. They do nursing 1 month, 2 months, they'll sell it. Very quick return they'll get. And small size, some farms, very lazy farmer, they'll do this one. That's why size of the fish will be small and profit will be less, but easy. And then a little bit to make it bigger, and then you stock, then size will be bigger, and then also survival will be higher. Then further nursing they do for the cage culture, and even nursing 3 for the bigger one. So by doing this, making 100-gram juveniles suitable for cage culture, only 3 to 4 months, they claim they can make it 1 kilo size. So this is the way. Some farms are doing on this part, some farms are doing this part, some farmers are doing this part, or some farms are doing this part. So this is segmented. That means this is the way like a mature industry is segmented. For an example, I was giving example. If you want to buy a suit, it may take 1 month in some countries. But if you come to Bangkok, it takes only 24 hours. How they do it? Within 24 hours, you can buy a suit, fit and make it. How they do? One person take your measurements, height, weight, or whatever, and then that person will distribute which part, which tailor, like a collar or a hand or something. So Finally, they put together, attach, and then the suit is ready by next day. So that's how they manage it. So industry, tilapia industry is becoming like this. What that means, they can depend on each other. That means they are equally competitive for their job. Suppose if they focus on nursing only, they know very well this part. If they do this part, they know very well this part. That's why the specialization has a value here, and this produce the result. Like a hatchery here, always our students and trainees visit here. This is the manager from UK, running the hatchery in Thailand, earning more than we work out something like how much is this? At least around $10,000 a day revenue generation is possible. You can see huge amount of tilapia eggs in one. This is maybe 2 kilo. And this is another tilapia hatchery. And this is a guy from again Pakistan. He's a doctor, American Soybean Association representative, and he was surprised to see Mercedes-Benz belong to this farmer. That's why he said, "Please take my picture with this guy and that car." So he is showing these pictures when he goes back to build the confidence that farmers can have a Mercedes car. Okay, so how farmers are earning, what farmers are, how farmers are living, what they belong to, this matters a lot. Suppose if students know this, oh, this is possible as a farmer, then I don't think students will be hesitant to be a farmer. So this is the problem at the moment. Not many people want to be an agriculture farmer, do agriculture business, aquaculture also the same. And people want to live in the city, IT job, office work, but that kills them because there's no chance to grow in terms of economic or other things. Even learning things, you can learn a lot from the farmer than from the books and teachers. I can surely say this because I have been learning from the farmers going around in Thailand as well as in other countries. We learn more than this is another nursing. You can see this is monosex hatchery in Bangladesh. In a small area, each hapa has 8,000 fry. Imagine how many they have in a single pond, and they have 5 or 6 ponds like this. So a huge amount of things going on. So you need to visit, you need to see what's going on around the world in case of different species, not only just one. So this is the reason you see how we organize hatchery and grout. We organize so many training, including seaweed or crab breeding, something like that. We don't have a facility, but we have farmers doing these things, and we connect to the farmers. We take the students there, so students learn directly from the farmers. So that's how we organize. You can see people from Norway, Australia, Oman, Thailand, Malaysia. People are coming from all over the world. This is example in Pakistan how they are promoting aquaculture, even tilapia as a new species. They are promoting comparing calves. Now many farmers are trying both to compare and see. I think they have already hatchery, and some more hatcheries are coming in Pakistan, tilapia hatcheries, and then India also now is opening tilapia permission for all the states. We have that circulation later by the central government sending all these states, so people are allowed to do, but they need a permission. And some data show already tilapia has increased, production has increased from here to here. So even I have seen some export happening to Gulf countries. So if this takes off in India, imagine the production cost is a lot lower in India than in Thailand, in many countries. So it will, take off very soon. And we are working on, with one hatchery in Chhattisgarh, Raipur, which somebody came here for, the owner came here for training. Then he keeps all the time inviting me, and then see the hatchery technology going wrong or right or expanding. So big hatcheries going in there. Similarly, other species, pangasius increase in Vietnam, white shrimp increase, like a skyrocketing growth happened, African catfish. So each species, growth is there. So pangasius in Vietnam is a very, very good example how they grow. High density, 80 fish to 100 fish per square meter. Pond, they make deeper and deeper. Every time they harvest, they take out the mud and make the pond deeper so that they can put more fish, because pangasius is air breather, so they don't need any aeration, anything. And disease is not that big problem. So 40,000 farms are doing this. Although this is there is a competition now, it goes up and down. And many women are working in processing factory. Uh, 2,000 farmers in a single room. When we visited a couple of companies, they have 90 companies like this in Vietnam, they say. So huge things going on in Vietnam, especially pangasius, as well as shrimp and others also. And Bangladesh and India also is doing pangasius farming. Although in India it has not been probably promoted, but farms are doing already through, I think, taking seeds from Bangladesh, and also in Nepal, probably pangasius seed may come from Bangladesh through West Bengal. And imagine if there are no hatcheries, why they cannot do hatchery easily? Like one female, you need like a 5 to 7 kilogram size. If you inject the same hormone, you can produce like 1,000,000 eggs. So even 10% survive. Your 100,000 eggs, even 1 rupee per piece, you'll earn 100,000, something like that. So the hatchery has so much potential, and within a week they'll be ready to sell. But the only thing is you need to plan for the broodstock. That's all. And even magur, catfish. Some of the areas do not have hatcheries, and we have very good hatchery here. We organize training. This is the place where every day 300 females they inject and collect eggs from 300 females. Something like a 40-kilo eggs they can collect in a day. All these are females, and they kill like three males to fertilize all of them. It's possible. And this catfish hatchery sells about 5 million hatchlings in a day, single day. So imagine how much hatchery could earn if somebody can do this, organize this hatchery business. Okay, so I've been encouraging people. So in Africa, people get surprised when they come here. Hardly they produce like a 50,000 fingerlings, something like that. 20,000 is huge for them, but here we are talking about millions. 5 million in a day they sell. But there is a technique where they do in a tank, just not in jar, and they also feed moina and some other small species. And there is some big species like Mekong giant catfish. Some people are growing this fish, and some Bangladeshi group they took some this fish. They're trying to breed. Imagine if this fish can be grown. It looks like a one cow. So 200, 300 kilogram can be huge. That's why some people are trying. Although this is actually endangered species in Mekong River, but farming, if you can breed, may be possible. Some farms are doing in Thailand now. So any big fish in the river or wherever may be possible to breed. So there are so many other species like a sea bass. Thailand is very popular, but still the technology is a little bit difficult, breeding and nursing technology. But this is also coming. Some farms are doing successfully. Like there are hundreds of farms in one province. They do in seawater, brackish water cases, and also this is case. This is the farmer's house here, and then they sell to the airliners. But now there is a problem. Airliners cannot buy. They are not doing that business. Similarly, snakehead is a very successful species. Although China and Vietnam they are doing more now, but in Thailand they used to have some of the farms selling like 4 tons a day which is more than $10,000 a day they used to earn revenue. So the farmer's house is like a resort. Okay, every day one truck goes out to distribute these snake heads to the markets, fresh market. So that type of things. So also this is possible to breed this snake head. They use the same hormone, but you need a little bit of careful when they hatch, and then hatchlings. You need a live feed, something like a moina, rotifers, all these things. So Thai government is trying to promote this fish now. They had a plan before this COVID-19 to train thousands of farmers in Thailand, because every restaurant they want this fish. Similarly, crab is already there. Especially they do collect live crabs, and then they put here just for making soft shell crab. Just within 2-3 days, they change their shell, and then they sell to the restaurant. So huge farming is going on in Thailand. Mostly the crabs are caught from the natural wild fishermen around in the border of Myanmar. And seaweed is there, seaweed farming. We organize training also. These guys came from Madagascar. Two groups came here last year. So this guy is doing seaweed farming, and he was showing how to do the farming and also how to make a packet. So there's a very well organized things. There may be some of the weeds like algal culture or something may be possible in freshwater also. So, and also lobsters are still caught from the wild, but breeding has been tried. Some government stations are trying to do breeding now. Imagine if it is successful. Lobster is one of the most expensive one. This rock lobster, they are trying. I think they are successful already. Now it may come out anytime as a technology. Similarly, mussels and cockles, there are so many things going on, and not only those, people are doing Artemia, moina, rotifor, very small things that we need for carnivorous fish and also for shrimp. And people, like this guy sells only Artemia. Every day he earns $200 to $300 per day, just harvesting Artemia from this pond. So, and he said there is nothing to feed except making the water green using molasses and those factory wastes. So this is all about understanding how the agriculture products are converted to the money. So business is all about, if the people understand how this can be converted here, how we can produce and convert, that's the business. So this picture I saw, this is from Brussels. So I took a picture and I'm using this one to give idea. Although there are some problems, what problems exist for aquaculture development is something like a cost of feed. This was from Nigeria. When they do the research survey. So cost of feed is the main problem, mainly because they are doing catfish there. So catfish cannot grow in the green water. You need a feed. That's why feed is the main cost there. And finance, encouragement from the government, predators problem during the young stage probably, and then electricity supply for pumping water and maybe aeration, research, lack of research in some countries, and then storage facility, means if they produce more fish, so how they will store. So these are the things what people are finding out. So how can we overcome these problems? We'll solve them. And also processing and storage part, people are doing simple drying by hot air fan under sun or whatever, and then making pickle, making powder, canning, like a tuna. Canned tuna is #1 in the world for export from Thailand. So they do have a lot of things, processed product also. Like a simple tilapia, they do just sun drying in rural villages. So it just reduce the moisture level so that bacterial growth will not be there. So there are so many ways. Simple solar things can be done, can be made. And also nowadays you can find salmon, carbs, skin as a snacks, because this is a lot better than potato chips. Potato chips has only carbohydrate, but fish skin has actually protein and also maybe omega-3 as well, because most of the fat is between skin and the meat. So when you do the filleting, you discard the skin, which has actually omega-3. At the same time, they do this bone part also deep fry, which is like a snacks, and you have a rich calcium there, and then many other minerals. So this has been popular. So these will be easier to store for a longer period, and also they will be source of many nutrients. That's why malnutrition can be solved, not only eating fresh seafood or fresh animal meat, it can be through processed things. Similarly, powder. This is a fish powder uh, produced by our university students, bachelor's university students, and they make the product and they were selling. So I bought it just to taste. It is really good, and then they are selling. So that's how the university students do the research and also make sure this product is edible, and then also taste how long it can remain as such, quality remains, taste remains. Then this is very useful when you have a trip, like a one group. When we had a trip to Norway, Thai teachers were carrying these things, so that they just buy rice, which is cheaper, and then they put this fish powder and eat. So it's cheap way to survive in Europe. Otherwise, everything is very expensive. So also, this is suitable for children as well. So if you have a give children, small children, they can eat rice with the powder that can fulfill the protein requirement. And recently, this ice cream, they started putting tilapia after making soft, boiling or steaming, and then it can mix easily with the ice cream. So ice cream has a protein as well. So putting some sort of additional nutrients in existing traditional products can give extra nutrients that solves the malnutrition. So we have to think this is good way, innovative way, let's say, to solve the malnutrition problem. Because most people, children like ice cream. If ice cream has a protein also, that can be helpful. So finally, what I would like to say is keeping the farmers in mind, or center of our mind, whether you are from education institution or extensionist or researcher, whatever. Ultimately, the farmers are the one that you are going to give the result of the research or technology or whatever. Then farms are the one to produce the fish, which everybody needs to eat. So keeping farmers in the center will solve the problem. Otherwise, hating farmers or hating farming will not solve the problem. So this is the summary of what we can see: all the food security problem, health problem. Aquaculture or aqua business has a potential to address these problems, in my opinion. So we have to work together to achieve the goal. Thank you very much for your long time. I think it was quite long. I guess everyone is still there. I see 84 people. Okay, if you have any questions, maybe you can discuss. I hope there will be time. Thank you.
Thank you very much
Subodh.
for your comprehensive. You covered so many things, and I hope it was very informative for all the participants. Despite this product potential and caliber to address FSS, aquaculture and fisheries get a very limited uh, attention or priority in national levels and international forums. Before moving to question answer sessions, I want to request Dr. Tegh Bahadur Gurung for his short appreciation words to our speaker. Please, Tegh Bahadur sir.
Thank you, Subodhji. Well, congratulations to Dr. Ram Bhujel. Actually, this was very outstanding and very motivational kind of
Thank you, sir.
presentation. I think all of the students, newcomers, if there are some entrepreneurs listening this program, maybe they will be getting very huge benefit out of his lecture. So it was very excellent one, giving all the details, and especially there were so many, slides which I liked very much. But one of the outstanding one was about the sources of animal protein in Nepal. This was a kind of very new one for me as well, in terms of the protein supply. Actually, the fish is coming in number 2. Wow, it's very surprising and it's very encouraging actually. So there are very big future as well. In later part in later part probably we can develop when we compare the global aquaculture and fisheries. Nepal is really smaller one. Of course, we are trying our best to bring it up. Although, but still, there are. I foresee there are so many limitations. And side by side, I like the idea of this in-pond rescue system. Actually, what species they grow, I think in later part maybe you can highlight on that. I would like to know what species actually they are doing in that rescue system and pond system. So, recently to enhance the aquaculture system, as you mentioned earlier, that in recent past, the aquaculture in Nepal was growing quite rapidly, having some sort of 8 to 10% of the annual growth rate. But somehow this COVID has impacted us, and we are very much afraid that probably there will be, this has damaged the value chain system. So we require to recover these as well. So please, maybe this labor problem, how you foresee in Thailand, in Indonesia, how they are coping with this labor problem over there. And another question would be about the, maybe the government delayed in Nepal to promote the, these all sort of species as you have mentioned. For example, pangasius, tilapia. People here, I foresee there are a lot of, environmentalists over there. Sometimes, we are trying our best to provide the protein to the people, but we have some sort of, fear inside us that even though if we promote this tilapia, catfish, maybe all the journalists are going behind us and probably they will chase us. So that sort of, a kind of psychological threat to all the researchers probably and the external agents. Maybe there somewhere inside their, inside their thinking, probably that is grasping somewhere. I would like to ask how the people in Indonesia, in Thailand, they react. Do you face sometimes that kind of the problem with the environmental agencies? That guy, you are not doing the right things. Please, I think I would like to listen your very honest answer on this, so we can also overcome, the problems ahead. Who are willing to work with the tilapia? Of course, we have introduced here, and people. Dr. Madhav is doing excellent work. We would like to encourage that sort of work. So maybe with your point of view and your suggestion, probably we can also, go a little bit more faster to achieve, to produce more and more fish in future. So I will not take long, sir. I would like to appreciate, and I would like to give the opportunity to the students, the coming generation, to ask and interact more and more. Thank you so much. We have been very much delighted with the presence. Your presentation, it was so motivational. And with this motivational note and speech, probably there will be, lot of aquaculture. Lot of aquaculturists are coming up from the new generation. And I would like to appreciate your statement over the people. They prefer to be, a bureaucrat, a scientist. Probably there are more opportunities if you turn an entrepreneur, a fish entrepreneur. That also is one of the attractive part. Once I visited in China and interacted with some of the students, and asked, I asked with them, what you would like to be in future? I anticipated because of my cultural background that they might be answering that they would like to be the engineer, a doctor, a scientist. But to my amazement, the answer was very different. Most of the guys, they replied that they would like to be the businessman, an entrepreneur. Then suddenly I started to think why that they had this reply, why they didn't say me that they would like to be a doctor, an engineer, a computer scientist. So I thought probably to be an entrepreneur, to be a businessman is not a easy job. To be earn something, some value, you require to be the intelligent. You require to win the trust, and you should be very, very smart. Those combinations, the money is very hard thing that doesn't come in your pocket very easily. You require to earn the trust. You require to be very good in the technology. You should be very promising. You should be very punctual, etc., etc. Only then money will flow down in your pocket or in someone's pocket. And that is the one of the quality of the entrepreneur. So with this kind note, I would like to stop here. I would like to give and offer more and more question and interaction with Professor Bhujel and the students. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, can I respond to you because I may forget? Thank you for a good question, and I think very practical questions. Yes, IPRS system is under development, under test, so data will come later. And the data about Nepal's protein sources, buffalo and fish. So based on the government data, I'm not using my own data. So I think some of the ministry people have seen my presentation even last time when we had like an AIT AA alumni chapter presented. I present the same data. Some people asked me in the chat box, and I provided the link where those data came from. So they kept quiet. And then also I think director of agriculture, I think somebody also responded that I'm giving the data, I'm using the data of the government. So
Yeah.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
Unless either government has to say those data are wrong, or they have to stick, yes, I'm right. In that case, now government should have some sort of, let's say, pressure on giving some priority to fish. Otherwise, why fish people working in the fish do not have proper attention, even priority? So there was a discussion earlier also. Some people say first they look at the contribution to GDP. Yes, GDP is less because the fish price may be not expensive like others. But how many people are engaged, and then also it has a potential. Main thing is a potential. In the rural villages, if the fish are produced, they don't need to take those fish to the market. So people go there on the phone side and buy, right? That's the situation.
Yeah.
I think we have a very good scope there. So we have to catch this and then highlight it. So every professional has to be equally or competitive in terms of giving the data and then giving the argument. Okay, why not fish, why not fish? So this we need to do. So this is the point. And at the same time, let's say some other things like environmental problem with the new species, tilapia and pangasius. Imagine last 30 years India did not promote tilapia, but we were continuously answering the questions when policymakers from India were asking through email or through messages, something like that. I was giving a lot of information, and since 2009, I was working with a company from India. They wanted to introduce tilapia to do it in a biosecure way for the business. So it took about 5 years to introduce tilapia from here. So first lot went in 2014. So they are doing already tilapia farming in India. Then second hatchery also doing now another one. And RGCA, Rajiv Gandhi Foundation for Aquaculture, something, Center for Aquaculture, was promoting tilapia already. Okay, although that was a research institution. And then 2014, I was invited by that RGCA to give a keynote speech about tilapia in Vijayawada. So that was the beginning. I was surprised. Then there are like 350 people listening about tilapia, flying from Mumbai to other many states, listen about tilapia in India. So that was the beginning. And the secretary, I think from the federal government, was there, and he was very positive. Then they started promoting tilapia, and they actually that company was asked to make a guideline for tilapia in India. Then the company asked me to check the guidelines, so we agreed that those guidelines were okay for India. Then that was given to the government, and government approved that one, maybe with modifications. Then they gave that guideline for few states, like I think Karnataka, maybe some few states first. Now they are distributing all the states for tilapia growing. Guidelines are already there, but the people need permission to grow in a biosecure way. So the question is, there are a lot of questions about environmental problem because of the new species. Okay, in Nepal, in Pakistan, in India, these are the countries where they have a lot of questions. And then I have been answering these questions wherever I go and give a keynote speech. It was since 2009 probably in India. So a lot of questions. And recently in Chhattisgarh, Raipur, DAF organized, and one college students came. So I was talking about 6 hours about tilapia and new species introduction to convince them. Okay, so it takes so long. So we may spend 6 hours if everybody is okay. We had, because we have a in a situation where Thailand, Bangladesh, and Philippines, and Vietnam, they are introducing new species to feed the people. Their policy is they want to feed the people because people first. And environment is second, but still is there is no proof that tilapia will destroy. Pangasius is catfish, but it's not carnivorous catfish, it's omnivorous. Not like a magur catfish. Very clear, so we have to confirm these things. And then tilapia is also omnivorous. It's not even like a catfish. So instead of promoting catfish, even local catfish, tilapia promotion, I don't see any problem. In India and Nepal and Pakistan, they already have a tilapia. So there is a question in Kochi when I was giving a presentation before me of the tilapia, this, that, and then I started answering questions. Look, I'm not talking about introducing tilapia. Tilapia is already there in every country. So my point is,
how to manage that?
My point is introducing the technology. Use the technology, use your fish, and produce more fish for the people. People are hungry. People have malnutrition problem. Children are 36% children are malnutrition, have a malnutrition, and many people have a malnutrition problem and economic problem. So many problems are there, but we are blocking those opportunities by growing fish.
Good.
And then carbs has a lot of Y bones, and people don't want to eat fish because of that. And tilapia is the solution, or pangasius is a solution which do not have small Y bones in the muscle. So there are a lot of benefits. We need to be clear ourselves first. Then only then we can convince others. So that's the main point.
Right.
About the environmental problem, many people think tilapia eats other fish. Tilapia eats its baby. They think that way.
No.
But it's a mouth brooding mouth-looking maternal behavior when baby fish are released, and if they are in danger, they just open the mouth and baby fish go inside the mother's mouth to take a shelter
Yeah.
for safety. So
Yeah.
people see that as that big tilapia is eating small tilapia. That is the problem of understanding. And also, we had a
Right.
Swedish government-funded project to see whether any exotic fish species have any negative impacts in the environment and other species. Um, in Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, and Laos, 4 countries, we had one project funded by Swedish government. And then we organized national seminar and inviting all the stakeholders, researchers, and then government officers, and then all others, even farmers representative. Then we asked them what are the risks of introduced species and what are the benefits of socio-economic benefits. So no one could give real proof that tilapia or any introduced species actually affects other local species. Okay, so no one could show that, but everyone was agreeing on that introduced species have a big socio-economic impacts.
Great.
So well ahead. That's why uh, all people agreed there is no evidence there is a negative impact, but there is only talking.
Yeah.
People talk about the risk, abstract things, but no proof. Okay,
Yeah.
and then what I can give example, suppose introduced species tilapia we are talking about looks like a broiler chicken. Imagine you are growing broiler chicken. Broiler chicken comes from maybe Germany or somewhere. Imagine if the one broiler chicken goes out, can the broiler chicken kill some of the local birds? I don't think so. Broiler chickens cannot fly even, they are fat and they are weaker in terms of surviving in local environment. So local fish are a lot stronger than the fish that we are talking about, pangasius or tilapia. Okay, imagine like a broiler chicken and local chicken. Okay, this is one example. Another example I was giving is suppose tilapia is a new species. When it goes to some country, they try to blame whatever happens there, blame to new species coming there. It's like when a family marries, daughter-in-law comes to the new house, then um, let's say buffalo dies in their family, they will blame to daughter-in-law.
Yes.
Cow gets sick, they will blame her.
Yeah.
Goat dies, they will blame her.
Yeah.
Same way tilapia is happening that way. So this is another example. Okay, so we had a research, and I think the FAO report is somewhere there. We have published about the introduced species, not only tilapia, all the introduced species. Aquaculture development is happening because of the new species introduced from other countries. So introduction started from common carp from Hungary. Hungarian experts came around to teach us how to breed Hungarian carp, common carp, or Israeli common carp, whatever. Originally it was China again. And then later on, they started promoting carps, Indian carps, and Indian scientists went around the world to teach how to breed Indian carps, right?
Wow, outstanding. Yeah.
Yes. You can see even in Africa, I go there, I can see Indian carp there, common carp is there. But in terms of business, trade, where they are now, you cannot do filleting from common carp or Indian carps. That's why international
No.
business is
No.
not happening. Local food security,
Right.
that's fine. People are eating. That's good. It's good, doing well already.
Yeah.
But if you need something more, business, even within the country, then new species is helping. Like in 2009, we went to Chennai. We were invited to promote tilapia and then white shrimp. White shrimp pick up very quickly in India, and India now became #1 in the world
It's
for
amazing.
export.
Yeah.
But tilapia was not getting any attention. So probably they might have realized now White stream has again problem, disease, but tilapia has never problem, never any
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, no,
No other country. Sometimes it comes like a virus or something, disease, but it goes quickly.
yeah,
So these are the things we need to explain to the people, policymakers, whatever. Uh, Actually, there is no harm.
yeah,
So direct question is, if it is harmful for the local species, why the countries like Vietnam, Bangladesh, or Thailand or Philippines, why they are not worried about it? Why they are not
yeah.
afraid about it? We can
That's the
ask it.
question.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
this is another question.
yeah,
Now, um, the local species are actually disappearing not because of the introduced species, but because of pesticide in agriculture. They use pesticide, and those pesticide
right.
residues goes to the river or lakes or whatever. They are the main
Yeah,
cause of disappearing local species. But nobody knows
yes,
this. Nobody
yeah,
considers this. Probably
yeah,
99% of the cause.
yeah,
And municipality waste, they are the one doing the pollution.
yeah,
It goes directly to the lake, goes directly to the river. So even a lot of cosmetics go there. So nobody looks at those that level. So scientific proof, scientific research studies are not strong. That's why we don't have a proof. That's why people can talk anything. So it's difficult to answer all these questions. Sometimes stupid
yeah,
questions,
yeah.
but
Sir, I
direct
want to step in
experience.
here.
Let's see from other countries' example. So other countries' example are already proof. So those, environmentalists, I know these journalists, they just want to make a highlight, asking those stupid questions, and then, but wherever I go, uh, I'm giving all these things. Problem maybe within our group also. Like I had one situation in Zambia when I went there. I was FAO consultant in Zambia for a month, and I visited all the places, all the farms, many interested farmers. Even I visited one fisheries office, international organization. I'll not tell you which one this at the moment. The director of the regional office in that office was opposing cage culture
Yeah.
in the lake. And I said, why? She said, no, we don't know what happens under the cage. Local species may be affected, this, that, because of the pollution that you have when you have a cage culture. And I was on telling her, let's discuss this one a little bit more. What is pollution? Pollution is the increased level of nitrogen and phosphorus or nutrients in the lake. We can calculate this easily. Suppose you produce 100-ton fish, how much feed you put there? Suppose 100-ton fish, considering FCR 150, even 2 FCR, suppose 200-ton feed you feed, but 75% has a digestibility, means only 25% remains in the lake, and 25% of that again has only 30% protein. Again, protein has only 16% nitrogen. So you multiply by 0.3, 0.16, something like that. Actual nitrogen released from the uneaten food is very little. And you divide by the volume of the water. And we are talking about the lake, Kariba Lake, which is 200-mile long, 50-mile wide.
Yep. Yep.
Now you calculate every cubic meter you have 1,000-liter water, and you can calculate concentration, how much will be there. It comes
Yeah.
like a 0.0020, then you'll see the figures. I showed this calculation, and she was completely quiet. And she said, thank you
Amidst.
for opening my eyes. She said like that. And then I also convinced the director of the fisheries in Zambia. They were not allowing to have a cage culture in the lake. Now they are having big cages. So I was so happy to be able to change their policy to allow cage culture of tilapia in the lake. The lake has a capacity, I calculated, million ton they can produce, which is million ton is not produced whole Africa even by aquaculture. So these are the policies can make big impact. That's why we need really more discussion, more consultations, and maybe more let's say discussion with the policymakers, whoever, to break these barriers and psychological threats.
Yeah.
So we need to be
Yeah.
prepared ourselves first,
Yeah.
our people.
Mhm.
Now, I
Yeah.
think entrepreneurial, yes. um, Many people ask myself, I encourage people to do business, but many people ask me why you are not doing yourself. And I said, I'm doing business.
Yeah. Oh,
My
yeah.
training is business.
Mhm.
I bring a project, I bring people, people pay to me,
Yeah.
so I manage these projects as a business. Plus, I do have other business. So I'm not just a teacher here. I'm my family business is there. So we have some experience how to register a company, how to handle these things. So that's why this whatever I'm saying is not just from the book or from the it's from experience. And what we need for the students also need some sort of confidence. So I started showing Mercedes cars for the people who are coming from Europe, Africa, anywhere. So they like the idea. Immediately that gives the impact. Wow, if the farmer can earn this much,
Mhm.
let's do it. So many people, you may see many people who have come here either from the private sector, I think mostly private sector, and they go and do their business. So earlier our training was mainly for the government officers and some NGO people, but most of the people now coming are private people. So they see the potential for business because we show we link our education and training directly with the farmers. So they can see how farmers are doing, and farmers are telling very frankly, I earn this much, because they
Yeah.
are proud of that. So recently, our Indian students are also listening here. 10 students from Odisha University, I have interns. So they just visited Tilapia farm. Then that guy said, I'm making 3.5 million, 3 to 4 million baht from 2 ponds. They visited Tilapia farm. So they are selling 12 million tilapia fingerling per month.
Yeah.
So that means 67 million baht per month the company is earning. So there are many other examples there. So these
So
type
many
of successful
examples. Yeah.
farmers, I make them as a things to learn for the students. So they interact directly. They learn from them, and then they are encouraged to work in the pond. Imagine many people who come for training, they are directors or they are professors or they are whatever they hold their position there. I made them work in the pond and catch the fish. Can you imagine? Because I encourage this way, this has a benefit.
Right.
If you do business, I'm saying $1 million business you can create with this technology. So
Yeah.
I try to encourage them this way, confidently, telling them, showing them, then they are happy to work in the pond. I don't need
Yeah.
to force them. So it depends on how we teach the students what plan. Uh, I don't think now students need so much information they can find from internet nowadays,
Yeah.
but they need more skill. They need more like analytical or critical thinking, how this can be applied in the real life. So
Right.
that would be the useful thing to teach, develop the confidence.
Right.
At the beginning, I had a problem. Like one guy came from Kenya. He was actually working for a bank in Newark, and he was looking for. He was laid off because of financial crisis in 2008, and then he found tilapia business because his family had some land and also farm. Then he found my training and he came here, and I had a very difficult time for him to, for me to push him, to work in the pond. So he was trying to escape all the time.
Yeah.
And then I realized that, oh, I need to do something. Then after that, I didn't have problems. So we managed it. So this is the way people don't want to work hard, but they want to
Right,
earn
right,
more. It's not
right.
possible. It's not possible. So you have to work hard, you do the business.
Yeah,
So there's no 10 to 5 for the business. It's a working night and day, whatever requires. So they have to
exactly,
be
exactly.
prepared that way to work anytime. And then if they work, that is for them. So,
Excuse me. I want to stop you here because we have so many questions and many
oh,
people waiting for, like, we have
Thank you so much, sir.
to interpret
okay, thank you.
and all. So please, sir, like, because we already got like so many questions here. So before questions, I want to request Professor Dr. Madhav Shrestha for some appreciation words to Dr. Bhujel for his presentation. Please, sir, keep it very short. We have very limited time. So please, Madhav.
Okay, good, and thank you, NAFSA group organizers who made this possible to have such wonderful webinar. And was nice to hear Dr. Bhujel, his expertise and deliberation. He just this invitation and he accepted it. I want to congratulate Dr. Bhujel. He had a very comprehensive presentation, deliberation, especially taking all the global perspective and traits of the aquaculture species, production systems, and his products deliberation and promotion, and also giving a very good eye-opening to all the aquaculture students as well as professionals. Uh, this is expertise anyway. He could use it a little longer, I guess. It's more than that, and 1.5 hour presentation, and now discussing a long one. Even then, that's a good one. Again, I really thank Dr. Bhujel for his experience, training experience, and presenting experience, and all his conversation, how tilapia is the species that can be worked for everywhere. And these sort of things are needed to explain, and the production as well as in Nepalese context, what's the priority of the protein producing animals. So these are some of the database he presented and made the convince to other people, I guess, and keep the eye open all the students as well. I don't have much to say. I again thank Dr. Bhujel for this and the organizers for their good meeting organizers. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor. Now we move to the question and answer session. And I have the first question from Guillaume Lomere. He is a master student in Contact University, Vietnam. And he asks you, do you think the aquaculture future belongs to big scale companies only? If not, how the small scale farms can adapt to a more and more global old market? What do you say about this?
Yeah, good question. I think good concern also. It is, it depends. In the rural communities, small scale farmer exist. Not big companies will go and do their business there because there will be no market. So for the food security, for a small, selling surplus food at the community level, anybody has a chance. So it's all matter of understanding the value of fish. Imagine if people are eating daily basis fish, like in Thailand or Philippines or Vietnam, people are eating every meal, correct? In Vietnam, right? People are eating every meal fish. Imagine in rural area also, if they eat every meal or at least once a day, the demand will be still there, huge. So it's all about, time will come, people will understand the value of fish. You go to a medical doctor, they are suggesting at least you eat fish twice a week or something. So demand will be huge. And for the business, there are different model of business, different models, like shrimp, pangasius are good models. In pangasius farming in Vietnam also, not big farmers are doing, very few big farmers. Mostly, I think there's a research paper, 70% farmers are still small, but they work in a group. Same way shrimp farmers also. The small size pond is not not like a 1 hectare, because it's smaller the pond, it's easier to manage. Like a average size of the stream pond in Thailand is about 0.6 hectare, means 6,000 or 6,500 square meter. So easy to manage. So big farmers, big companies will do their own market, their own scale, like that big mega case, something, and they will have their own supply chain. For example, suppose McDonald's, if they do fish farming, they're planning, actually they were using white cod, they want to use farmed fish. Imagine they were testing even tilapia in Bangkok. Okay, if they want to do, then they will go bigger scale to produce and to supply their chain market only. They may not bring to the common people, right? So there are plenty of models, different models, like a CP company is doing here, which is largest company in Thailand. Also one of the billionaires in the world, I think within 100, 95th richest in the world, comes from agriculture background. Keep in mind, many people think richest people in the world come from IT business. No, there are few people doing agriculture business within billionaire 100, okay? 95th richest in the world has a basically seed business, shrimp, tilapia hatchery, feed, many other businesses. So it has businesses in many countries, including India or Bangladesh, Vietnam. So what they do is they do hatchery part, which is technical, and they do feed part and then filleting part. But the grow out part they give to the farmers, making groups. So even poor farmers, they can take a loan from the company, having a few cases, 20 cases or something, and company gives the feed on loan, seed on loan, and even within 1 hour, if the farmer has a question, they have to send their staff to the farm within 1 hour to solve that problem. And after they harvest, they just calculate the difference, how much they earn, and using that earning profit, they will buy another lot, or they will get money, whatever. So companies are also doing that type of model, helping the community, claiming that they are helping many communities. The picture I showed in Indonesia, the CP company has done that for shrimp. So they involve 4,000, 5,000 farmers to produce shrimp, allocating some like 2 ponds, 3 ponds. So they gather all together, rotationally they harvest and process and send, because large companies also cannot harvest all the shrimp at a time or all the fish at a time. So they have to rotate it. So that part communities are managing, growing, okay, but they have to follow the regulations, guidelines. So not necessarily big company come and then they grab everything from the community level aquaculture. No, there are plenty of different things can be done.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. I hope he got his answers. And we move to the other questions. And before that, I want to request you to keep answer as short as possible, because we have so many questions here and many of the
Oh,
analysts still there. Maybe they want to have some more questions for you. So for the next one, we have Sanjay Dungana, and he asks you, how economical is Biofloc system in Nepal? Will you please throw light on its economic aspects over other system? And
yeah.
also he gave you a condition. Suppose we have 1 hectare land with us and limited budget. Which system is better to adopt to start fish farming at initial phase?
Biofloc has a little bit of technical things to understand, okay, um, and then in the earlier Gurung sir also asked which species, okay. For the high density, either Pangasius or Tilapia, they are more suitable, and Biofloc originally was actually for shrimp. Now, people need to understand the technical part. Without understanding technical part, it will fail very easily, because they need to understand pH, they need to understand dissolved oxygen, they need to understand all these things, right? So I know many people are trying, just copying from you, looking at the YouTube videos, it doesn't work, okay? So they need to make sure they understand everything before starting the business, otherwise they'll lose. I think something is happening with many people, and there are many complaints about Biofloc. But the question is, need to understand and then run very carefully. And there should be 24 hours oxygen supply or electricity supply, extra generator, okay, standby generator to start within 20 minutes or 15 minutes. Otherwise, fish will die. So this is risky, very risky. Unless they understand basic things, I should not suggest Biofloc directly. Instead, they can have a tank system where they can have like a magur catfish, high density. It's not Biofloc, but still they can get a high density culture. And also Pengas is also possible. So starting from small, even in a pond or in tank, but low density first, and slowly learning, then go for a high density Biofloc, real Biofloc later. I would suggest that way. Okay, economically, I think I saw in Nepal also the one tank costs something like 50,000 rupees to 80,000 rupees. That can produce 500 kilo to 1 ton fish, one tank, depends on which species you grow. So it takes a couple of cycles. Some people say within 2 cycles they may get profit, and the same tank they can be used for 20 years or something. So you have to divide by that year, then profit will be there if the fish survive, if the fish grow. Understanding there's a feed is there or not. Okay, feed also is very important, and there are probiotics and some other things to use. So they need to understand all these things. Otherwise, it can be a problem. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. For biofloc, like it's very complicated. It's not as simple as you can see on YouTube videos. You must
Right.
know the basics of aquaculture and fish biology. So moving on to another question, we have Dr. Robin Rao. He is doing masters in animal gynecology in AFU, and he have a question for you. What do you recommend to the officers at policy making level of Nepal to make the country self-sufficient in fish production? And also you have another question, can it means aquaculture or fisheries product supersede the poultry market? He asks. So what's your response on that?
It depends on how you look at it. It's already superseded. That's what I saw the graph. Total consumption or production is already higher than chicken. But some people may not believe that data, but that data comes from government. Okay. Now the question is, fish are eaten in the Tarai region, village level. People might not have seen that. That's why that's the problem. Also, people catch from the river, and there is no record anywhere. Okay. So the question is, there is no need to supersede any chicken or goat. The question is, can the people eat chicken all the time, every day? It's boring. So we need some variety. We need some variety. Maybe one day chicken, another day fish, another day chicken, another fish or pork or something, actually. The question is, the consumption of fish is still low. People have a negative mindset, and bone, presence of intramuscular bone is creating a problem. And people think rohu is the main fish, which is not. In Thailand, people don't like rohu. Rohu is cheapest fish. People like tilapia the most now. And tilapia, 20 years ago, tilapia was not there, let's say. So things are changing. Social media is, disseminating all this information, reality, real things. So cultural things, traditional things, slowly, gradually, the wrong culture, wrong things will go, but the right ones will stay. Okay, should stay. So that's the point. Now, what is another question?
Another question was, what do you recommend to the officers at policy
Okay.
level of Nepal?
Oh, there are so many recommendations we have been given. First thing, okay, now this COVID-19 is going to create jobless, many millions of people. government is expecting 1 million people coming from Gulf countries, or I don't know which countries, and they will have no job in Nepal, and students also especially may not get job. So students also have to be prepared to start their own business. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling everybody. So also what happens is the students get job. Okay, sometimes they prepare for 2 years for government entry exam, but after 5 years, after 3 years, they will get bored and they will complain, oh, my salary is not enough to survive for my children education, something like that. So instead of complaining, they need to think right away whether they should join the government job or others company, or they should start their own company or own job. So that's the thing we need to teach. So my students, I ask them to prepare business plan, what you want to do after graduation. So that's the one very challenging assignment I give to my students. And some people, yeah, say, I'll do online seafood business, something like that. Okay, everybody came with the idea. So that's how we try to train the students to be ready to start their own business. Okay, now for the government, also government need to think this way. Government cannot create a job for them. In Nepal especially, hardly government staff are, maybe including police, military, 400, 500,000 if you count. But every year 400,000 people graduates and look for a job. Where they go? That's the problem. That's why government has to create job for the people. How job is created? If the students are ready to start their own business, jobs will be created. Instead of job seeker, there will be job creators. Okay, like a fish farmers here create a job for many people. Even a hatchery, you need 10 people, 20 people, whatever. Simple farm may need few people. Okay, so people have to do that way, and the government has to plan this way. That's why my first suggestion is government should have a training plan for whoever is interested in agriculture business. And trainers should have a model. Suppose somebody wants to do fish farming, what model? If doing this way, how much is needed for investment? How much they will earn after how many months or a year? And agriculture business also, they may be doing like a cucumber farming or cauliflower or whatever. So trainers should have a model to show, if you do this, you'll earn this much. This is the way to go. So that type of models, like as I mentioned earlier, if they want to do case culture, there is a potential to earn $1,000 net profit per case. Then you can calculate how many cases you need for your particular target. So that's how trainers have to have that type of clear plan, and how to train, how to give the skill. They have to plan, not just like a lecture and videos. They should have some model farmers to go and work in the field. Okay, so if the government can plan this way, I was suggesting these things since long ago, actually, when there is a Yuva Swarozgar fund, and the vice chairman was from AIT graduates, and I was suggesting this. Okay, Yuva Swarozgar fund will give the money to the people, graduates, keeping the certificate as a collateral. But giving money only is not the solution. You need an idea how to do the business, how to manage, how to do the breeding, fish breeding. You need a skill. You cannot get easily. So I don't think many people can do the training. There is no training, proper training place even. I don't know whether government can train the people, or private sector training, or I don't know, NGO train. Maybe they train, but I don't know what they train. That's the problem, okay? So there are a lot of questions around there, starting from the plan, and then when it comes to the activity wise, you have to be clear what activities you do. Like if I give if somebody asks me they want training, I have to give clear what I plan to do for them, how many field visits or where to go, what to do, something like that, clear plan. So planning is a problem in Nepal. People think very surfacely. People think, oh yeah, I can do, yeah, I know, something like that. That's the way people do. But when it comes to the actual work, people have a problem. How to manage it? Everything goes in a hurry, quickly finish. So that doesn't give the result. For example, many NGOs have a training program, but their output is number of trainees they train, not the number of entrepreneur or businesses established or something done. That is not their goal. Their main objective is to count the head. How many people train? They submit the report, they get the funding from the donor. That's it. So government is the one should be there to monitor their activities, how much they spend, and what is the result coming out from that. So that is not happening. That's the problem. Okay. So government has to organize all these things.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
If there is a funding needs to be arranged through the bank or whatever, then making different groups, different thematic group, and then organize who are the trainers, then facilitate it all the way down when they start training. Like what I do is people come for training here. It's not that the final one. I say that's the beginning. You go and start your farm. Then if you have a problem, you communicate with me. And if necessary, I can come there. So many people invite me. That's why I have a chance to visit many countries. That is the reason. Okay, I enjoy. Okay, one way or another, although making sometimes difficult. So these things have to be led by some experts as well. Suppose there is no clear expertise. Suppose people want to do tilapia. Tilapia experts should lead those things. Suppose somebody wants to do something is happening. Suppose somebody wants to do something, then there are some people who can help that part to do the business, not just providing the theoretical knowledge. The problem is farmers and expertise also have a gap. Farmers don't believe experts. Okay, so there is a gap and then a mistrust, let's say, and then government is another side, and also government has a little bit of negative I think view about doing business. So many people think doing business is like a cheating or something, but if you look at the business is the one actually creating the job. Business is the one creating the revenue for the government. Thai government encourages people to do the business, any business you do, but 30% of the corporate tax, you make a profit, 30% goes to the government. That's why government understand business earns money for them also. Okay, 70% you keep the profit, 30% goes to the government. So clearly that type of rule has to be there, and then government also benefits, so that government can create the business environment and encourage the students to do the business, if necessary, support financially and also technically. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. It really happens. Like people besides aquaculture field really ask about the national policies about aquaculture and all. Quickly, I want to move to the next question. We discussed a lot about tilapia, but still we have one question from Dr. Jitendra Lama. He is working now for a private company and planning to develop tilapia farming in Nepal. And he have question for you. How would you see the future of monosex tilapia farming and its sustainability in Nepal? What are the challenges and opportunity of monosex tilapia farming? He asks. So we discuss a lot, but please, sir.
Yeah, that's a good question, and I've been doing this since last 20 years. It has taken long time. I'll tell you the story. The tilapia, especially tilapia, was introduced long time ago, but how? Actually, tilapia in Thailand came from the royal palace or emperor of Japan in 1965 to the king of Thailand, last king who died, and they started promoting tilapia as a royal fish, king's fish. So nobody thinks about tilapia is a exotic species in Thailand. That's why it has been promoted very, very highly, aggressively, and people like it. They like the taste, everything. And I found later, same tilapia was given to the king of Nepal when Birendra was a king by the king of Thailand. But that fish was taken to Janakpur, where maybe they were kept for some time. And after that, I don't know what happened, distributed maybe. But it was not prioritized as a food fish. You see, what you say, Thailand used that fish to make it popular, and then number one fish, they understand the value. But the same fish was not given any attention much, even opposed for farming in Nepal. Same thing in India, okay? And same time, I found later when I visited last year in Indonesia, they said the tilapia from Thailand, Thai king gave to the Sultan of Indonesia. So that's how tilapia started promoting in Indonesia as well, okay? It has been a royal fish, real gift. Now, monosex is the solution when it breeds itself. Then monosex makes like a very similar to broiler chicken. It grows fast, okay, and no female. If no female, it doesn't breed even in the wild situation. That's why I was talking about, if the broiler chicken goes out, can that kill the birds or local chicken? No way. Local chicken will be stronger. So monosex has been promoted by the government already in Nepal and also recently in India. And Nepal was following the policy of India in the past. Even Pakistan was following, okay? But Pakistan started earlier, 5 years ago, and they are growing already and given full authority. Now, India also giving. So for Nepal, there is no problem in terms of policy. Now it's a matter of the farmers, how they want to do the farming. And we have already started tilapia hatchery in Chittagong, where we started, introducing tilapia in farmers' field since 2000 in Thadi or Saura, near Saura, what do you call the Tharu community. So there we have also tilapia hatchery. So we see the potential. That's why it should grow. And last year we organized even training from Japa, from many districts. They came for training. So we plan to organize even more to help the farmers so that they can grow easily. And then sell to the market. At the beginning in Tharu community also, they could not sell tilapia, and they ate by themselves, and they were very happy because it was more tastier than rohu. They could sell rohu in the market easily, and they could eat tilapia by themselves. And slowly other people also know tilapia is more tastier, easier to eat without bone. So now it's becoming popular. I'm sure now in Chittagong, Makawanpur, and then western part and eastern part, all area it is growing, but slowly, okay, not like in other countries. Even Thailand, it took about 20 years to be established, okay? So I know time, it will take time. In India, they have already exported. I have a record. I found a record. They have exported already, just in 1 year, 2 years time. Okay, so imagine if many states start doing production and then export, India may lead in the future. So my expectation is India will have a big demand for tilapia, and UP and Bihar has less relatively. If Tarai belt of Nepal can produce tilapia, it can go easily to India even. We can export, not only replace the fish import. Import-export happens. Like even China, they are importing also, exporting also. It depends on which item you are talking about, okay? but you have to grow some species which is not grown other side. So tilapia was the one I was suggesting in Tarai belt. They should grow more, and they have a market even in Bihar and UP. So that was my suggestion since long ago. So it should grow. The problem is, let's say, from the government side, they have to be strong against environmentalists, whatever they question it. I'm here, I'm answering the question from Indian policymakers. I'm here, I'm answering the questions from Nepalese policymakers and Pakistani policymakers, okay? Because I believe on this. And it has been done already in Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, Bangladesh. Big scale. Imagine Bangladesh didn't have tilapia until 2001. So 2001, some people came for training. They started introducing hatchery, monosex hatchery technology. Now they have 500 hatcheries in Bangladesh, tilapia monosex hatcheries. Many people came for training. Some people learned from, indirectly, directly, whatever. And Bangladesh is number 5 or number 4 in tilapia production now in the world. 365,000 metric ton they are producing tilapia already. So the countries which have the vision, they can do that. That is one good example from Bangladesh. I think India is learning from Bangladesh. Many tilapia and pangasius fry fingerling go from Bangladesh to India. I said, look, tilapia and pangasius, fish do not need any visa and passport to cross the river between India and Bangladesh, because it's just a river, border is river, so it is crossing easily. So policy support or not support, farmers are doing. Farmers want to do. Now, because of the farmers are doing, policy has to support them. This is the situation coming. Instead, having a vision first and let the farmers give the technology first, they will follow the farmers. So that's the problem with the government without a vision. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Quickly, I want to add on this question. There is one more question that 100% monosex tilapia is not possible by using sex hormone. What is the solution to control tilapia breeding during culture period in pond? This is a question from Manmohan Kumar from ICAR CFA, Mumbai. So please.
Thank you. Yeah. 100% not possible. We have achieved 100% also, even in commercial scale. I have some data. I was the one actually, when we had a contract between AIT and one biggest farm in Thailand using AIT technology. So I was the one liaison officer between two organizations. So I was the one actually checking their quality also and certifying them. Okay. So I did like every month, went there and then check, kill every month like a 900,000 fish and check their male female after they have been given hormone. So I have a record. Sometimes they have got like 100% also. Sometimes yes, 99%, 98%. That is common. Now what I'm saying is, even when they grow fish, depends on how they grow. Like in the commercial scale, what they do, like a chicken style. Before chicks come to your place, you prepare your pond, your room, disinfect everything, clear, drain, dry, whatever. Then you put new fish. Then when you harvest all and drain again, dry again. So there is no chance to escape for the fish, those females out. Okay. If you have that's why biosecure measures have to be there. Guideline is there. Indian guideline is about that. And my argument would be even they escape from the pond, they will not breed so much how people think, because they are like a broiler chicken, similar to broiler chicken. When they go out, environment is different, so they may not be able to compete with other species. So that's the worry many people think. Why Thai government is not worrying? There are many tilapia in the river here. They are not worried because they think it's a ecosystem, where in the ecosystem every animal has its own niche and strength. Okay, so it's not carnivorous. Carnivorous fish can be dangerous because they eat directly, but tilapia is not. So only problem people show is maybe space problem, or they occupy space, or dominate, something like that, because they breed prolifically, something like that. Again, there are two types of tilapia. One, earlier introduced in India, Pakistan, Nepal, was a Mozambicus, Ureochromis mozambicus, which was more prolific. That's why that was a problem, and all the countries they want to get rid of. But the Nile tilapia, which came from Japan to Thailand, is less prolific than that one. Okay, that's why this is another fish. So this Nile tilapia is replacing all those Mozambicus. I don't think in Thailand they exist now. So whereas in India, Pakistan, you may still have a Mozambicus one. My even suggestion was this Nile tilapia should replace that one if you want to establish the tilapia farming industry. So in Thailand that is happening, Vietnam that is happening. Okay, so there are no other method other than this hormonal sex reversal. Theoretically, there are some. They say hybridization in China, they produce only 80% male, 20% females, around that. And there are other technology called YY male, super male, something like that. Name looks very, very promising, but it doesn't work. We have already long story about that also. The percentage of male even 85, 90, something like that. So direct hormonal use is the best one. Thai government tried both. YY male did not work. That's why they come back to sex reversal again. So they are promoting that one. So I can have many stories about this if anybody wants to learn more. So I've been doing this for people in Africa. Some people even ready to buy YY males. It costs like $100 for 2 pairs, and then they're just ready to pay like a $10,000 for a couple of 100 males. That doesn't go big scale. Then I told them, stop, wait for me to come and talk with you. Then I saved $10,000 for our company to go for the another technology, which doesn't work, and many people are, wasting money. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I hope he got his answer. And now we have one question from the same guy, Manmohan Kumar from CFA. He asked you, larval survival is one of the major problem in snakehead. What is the percentage survival of larvae after 7 to 10 days of breeding? He asked you about snakehead.
Yeah, snakehead is carnivorous fish. That's why all the carnivorous fish have low survival during nursing, early nursing. That is true. Like a grouper, you may have like a 2% survival, 3% survival. Sea bass, it depends on how you raise it, maybe 20, 30%. And this snakehead also about 30%. And there is a special technique people are doing here is culturing moina. So you feed the moina. So first thing, why development agencies are not promoting carnivorous fish is because they need a high protein diet, which is not very sustainable, okay, compared to tilapia and pangasius and carps. So it was actually not promoted in the past, any snakehead. But now Thai government somehow want to promote because the demand is there. Okay, so but what they have developed is pellet feed is possible for them also, and then during the nursing also they culture moina, and then even freeze dried moina, then move to rotifer, and then move to another pellets powder. So that's how they stepwise. So this is the part many countries are lacking, how they grow live feed. Live feed is a basis for carnivorous fish, and including shrimp. like artemia is needed for shrimp. Otherwise, they will not die. They will not survive, because right after they hatch, when they are hungry, they need to eat. If they don't get the right food, they will eat each other. Like a pangasius, also the same. All pangasius hatchlings will die within 3 to 5 days or within a week, because they don't get the right food. So choosing right food. And I always suggest we have to compare our babies. When our baby get birth, what we feed? Milk. After milk, we have to wait until 6 months to feed something like a milk and rice, and very soft things they can eat, liquid food. So slowly they move to solid food. Even then, under 5, up to 5 years old, they may not like to eat meat. That's why protein deficiency can be there, and vitamin deficiencies, all other things. Why jaundice happens in babies? Because they don't have enough vitamin C. So those things have to be applied in aquaculture also. How the baby feeds. They are not non-living things. They are living things like our babies. So we have to take care of how we take care of our babies. So people need to understand that way. Only then it is possible to develop, carnivorous fish species culture actually. Survival can be 20-30%. And problem is one female of the snakehead cannot give more eggs like carps. Carps you inject, you get 300,000 or a million eggs if the size is bigger. But I think snakehead gives maybe 1,000, 2,000 eggs only, like a tilapia. That's why that's a bottleneck for bigger, commercially scale farming. But in Thailand, we had like earlier, a farm used to ask rice farmers to catch small baby fish from the rice field, and they used to collect and then grow. But now they can inject hormone and make it, hatchery possible, hatchery system. And then once the hatchery system works, then government wants to train many farmers and do. So this is the right time Thai government is giving fund to the universities, fund to the organizations which can train the farmers or unemployed youth. So during this time, if they get the training, right after this lockdown, they can start their business or whatever. So this is the preparation time. But most of the government are just sleeping. I mean, people are sleeping in the room, not doing anything. What we say is, when there is a problem, they cannot go to the sea. Fishermen prepare their nets so that nets are ready to jump in when season comes. So we are not preparing the net. That's the problem, okay? People are just sleeping and spending time. Maybe more things they are doing is just like a webinar. Huh? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your answer. And I think tilapia, like snakehead, it's getting more popular during these days. And I wonder, I was surprised when I heard like people pay $12 for 1 kg of snakehead in Pakistan. I was so surprised.
Yes, yes.
And like now we have so many questions, and as you all know, tilapia and Dr. Bhujel are synonyms to each other. So many questions regarding tilapia. So I want to compile all the questions in one, because you already have answered so many questions. So I just compile. So I'll just take the name of the questioner, and then I will read the question, and you will summarize at the end. Okay, sir? Okay, now
Okay.
first question is from Sabita Jha, and she asks you, why is tilapia not being as popular as carps in Nepali market? What can we do to increase the market demand so that farmers adopt tilapia culture? She is also working for a government, and she is a officer, extension officer. So next question is from Regan Gale, and he asks you like, which species should be focused in today's context for the booming of aquaculture sector in Nepal? I guess it might be tilapia from your side. And then another question is,
Pangasius also.
yes, sir.
It can be pangasius also, and in the Himalayan region, we have a trout already. So I see these 3 new species in addition to carp. Carp's already there.
All right, sir. Thank you. Then next question is like from Krishna Paudel, and he asked you if I'm not wrong, and also your presentation show tilapia and catfish are hardy and face less problem in culture system, and also have huge potential even in high intensity culture. Why is our government still not promoting these species, which possesses such a great potential in promotion of aquaculture and food security? Maybe due to environmental problems or biosecurity concern or something else. Like it's a very broad question. What are your suggestions to policymakers? What could be measures to overcome such biosecurity issues so that culture of these species can be promoted? It's a very long question, sir. Please. Uh, so another question is. From Regan Gale, and he again asked you, I have heard about the news that in Lake Fewa, that tilapia have created the problem for the indigenous species over there. Maybe is it due to the competitive behavior of tilapia? It's the same question we discussed earlier also, I guess. And another question. Okay, that's all, sir. That's all. That's all.
Okay.
Sorry, sir. We have one more question. I guess it's from Suresh Kumar Wale, sir. So, and he asks, which method of culture would you suggest for Nepal for tilapia and pangasius? As land cost is very high. So that's all, sir.
Okay, I think the species we are talking about, I think we have very clear, options like a trout for the high mountains or cold water areas, and then warm water, tilapia and pangasius, warm water, and then carp. Carps are already there, right? And for pangasius and tilapia, I think government is still is not clear about this. Government is not clear, policy is not clear, although government has actually encouraged and even given subsidy to produce monosex tilapia. What that means, government has accepted tilapia as a commercial species and farmers can go ahead. Once more farmers are there, they will fight whatever they need, okay? That's why now what we need is awareness program for the farmers, among the farmers and consumers as well. So marketing is needed. In many countries, even in Thailand, tilapia was not popular in the past. Okay, tilapia was not popular, was cheap fish, but one private company see the opportunity. It was cheap fish, so it was good for the poor people because they can afford. Like in Bangladesh also, pangasius is cheap fish now, and many people complain, oh, it's not good fish. I said good because poor people are in majority. Maybe 60% people are poor. If the fish is cheap, they can eat that fish. They grow shrimp or expensive animal, goat, they sell and eat pangasius better. Okay, so cheap fish doesn't mean bad. People say poor man's fish. What's wrong with the eating fish? There's nothing wrong. It's good actually for health. So now, why government is not promoting? This is a big question. Since long ago, we have been struggling this. Okay. We said we should. I gave many presentations about tilapia, what is going on around the world, Thailand, Vietnam, Africa, many countries, and I don't know where and how it is happening actually. But program. Even tilapia production was not reported. I think since last 5-6 years time only. First time 50-ton production was reported, even the tilapia was there. And even in India, I think government doesn't report tilapia production yet, but the figure I got from other sources. Okay, so this is the thing, because people, government people are a little bit, worried about the threat. Somebody said, okay, in Fewa Lake there is a tilapia. I have seen myself. I've been there many times, and we walk in the morning when fishermen catch the fish. I have seen those tilapia, and I have interviewed the farmers, fishermen. Actually, what happened in Begnas and Fewa, when we visited, the fishermen said 2 years they could not catch fish. Their nets were empty, so they were struggling how to survive. But luckily, I think third or fourth year, some tilapia started coming when they catch. Okay, so we asked them, did you eat the tilapia? Or we asked them. They say yes, whatever they catch they eat. And we asked them their opinion, what they think about the tilapia. They said this is good because they were not having fish in the past couple of years. They didn't know what happened. Okay, but the tilapia started coming. That means tilapia is a solution for them rather than a problem. So it depends on how you look at it. Whether you look at half glass empty or full, half is empty or half is full. Okay, so we look at it, this is a opportunity. See, the tilapia is there. Even I am suggesting, even now, if anybody is there to do the business, catch those tilapia. They are surviving in cold water in Nepal. I'm suggesting use that brood stock, brood fish, say this is Himalayan tilapia, and we can sell all over the world. There is opportunity. If the government can do, or any private sector can do, we can sell. From AIT, we are selling brood stock. We are selling to all over the world. Brazil, Honduras, El Salvador, Africa, Bangladesh, many countries, even India, it came from Thailand. So brood stock sale has a good business. But they have to manage, they have to realize the value. So Himalayan tilapia, Himalayan water, Himalayan whatever you say, there will be a demand in the future in the world. Okay, so it depends on how we look at it. And now, if you say there is a problem, what is the solution? Nobody has a solution. You cannot take back all the fish from the lake, can you? Nobody can take back. That's the only way, is to utilize that as a resource rather than take as a problem and then complain all the time to others. Whatever you talk, whatever you argue, whatever you say, whoever you blame, whatever punishment you give, you cannot solve that problem. So only way is to utilize them. Okay, in India also the same. I have been telling this. You have tilapia already. Whoever you blame, whatever you punishment you give, it will not solve. You cannot take back all the tilapia anyway. So only way is utilize them as a resource. Okay, is it clear? Now policy is the clear policy has to be there. I don't know who and how policy is made in Nepal, because I'm not working for the government. I can, whenever I have a chance, I give just suggestion only. So clearly we have to mention tilapia is a potential species to grow at high density. Wherever I have suggested, like in Pakistan, we went there and then we calculated. There's one slide I showed about Pakistan. The government recommendation was 700 fish per acre stocking density. 700 fish hardly will produce, let's say 1 kilo fish, maybe 700 kilo per acre. But the tilapia recommendation is up to 15,000 instead of 700. If you stock 15,000 fish, even they grow only 500 gram size, they can harvest 7 ton, 6 ton instead of less than 1 ton. So that made a big impact in Pakistan. And I met Army General was growing tilapia after retirement. I met a hotel owner who has a hotel in Phuket in Thailand, hotel in Lahore. I met that guy He was doing tilapia farming, seeing that profit potential. And also I met even medical doctor who goes Dubai every month, 15 days works there, 15 days in Lahore. He started growing tilapia. Can you imagine? So that type of impact we were making there. And we have been telling in Nepal, there is a potential like this. I've been giving so many presentations, but nobody is taking seriously. This is my, let's say, complaint or disappointment, whatever you say. And also, the problem is, what I have seen here is private sector is taking up the technology. Okay, so in Nepal, private sector is weak. That's why I can see the problem is the private sector is weak. That's why it is not happening. Okay, that's why our group ourselves, Madhav Shrestha and our group ourselves, have started tilapia hatchery in Chittagong. Okay, that is our business also, but it's not mainly to make the profit, but to show academicians also can do business as a model. Okay, people can go and see carp. Many people might have seen that on the Facebook wall. Carp, CAARP, and that is the purpose. And then we organize training also. So slowly now, what we need is more awareness about the tilapia among the consumers and among the farmers. And then the program has to be as a integrated program, not just for the production side. We have to train the farmers to produce, and we have to work on the marketing side, markets also, and also maybe even processing side. If we cannot sell, what to do next? In other countries, people are selling tilapia leather, even tilapia powder. You can see a lot of powders here because it's soft meat. It's easy to mix with the ice cream, even making a paste, making a anything. So there is a big potential. What I say is, our malnutrition problem of children, not only Nepal, is Pakistan, India. Pakistan has a 45% children under 5 are stunted. So every time I present there, a couple of times already, that is the big challenge that our parents do not understand, because parents are the ones taking care of babies. We are giving only milk and rice. Protein is lacking there. Okay, at least few times a week, they should get some protein. Even it can be eggs, it can be pulses. Okay, but among the meat, fish is more digestible than other meats. Eating chicken and eating fish, a lot different there. Like in Thailand, people, this region, Southeast Asia, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, young children even catch fish and eat. Even in Nepal, in rural areas, they do this. But we were not able to realize the value and develop it. Okay, so unless we understand, we are giving more emphasis on milk. That's fine. It is working. Parents are earning. Okay, but children needs something else. Milk doesn't have vitamin C. Everybody knows that. If you put lemon in milk, what will happen? So vitamin C is not there, and children are getting disease because of lack of vitamin C. Vitamin C is the one to promote immunity. So we didn't understand all this simple human health, and we just go by tradition. We just go by customs, follow the customs. That's why people are suffering, having a cancer, having a lot of disease cases. So unless we analyze scientifically, we cannot solve the problem. Even I had an argument with the World Bank guy. Why? I had a proposal to submit to World Bank, but they didn't accept it because they had a soybean-based Sarbotam Pitho for Nepalese children. I said that is not adequate because it has only soybean. Soybean lacks some of the methionine and lysine. you know, amino acids has a limiting amino acids. If you have one amino acid lower than the requirement, all other amino acids do not work, right? Everybody knows limiting amino acids. So promoting sarvottam pito, soybean-based pito, is not helping to stunted children. So my proposal was put the fish powder. But the guy who was promoting that, designing that, was a vegetarian. That's why I could not argue with him. Okay, this is the problem. Unless right people in right position there, problem is just there. Okay, so policy, all these things are understanding the nutrition part, and then also value of the natural resources, and then training the people, giving the skill rather than just giving the subsidy doesn't work. So we need to plan all these things. Only then it will work. Why tilapia is not popular in Nepal? There are multiple things. Carp is traditional. People, even the question is, even carp is not popular. Exactly. People prefer chicken instead of fish. So it's not only tilapia actually. People prefer chicken or actually goat meat. So there is a problem of understanding about nutritional part, scientific part. So the people choose the taste rather than the nutrition. So we need to, teach the people what to eat. And also, this is not only Nepal, actually, many countries, even developed countries, they still choose beef compared to fish if it comes to the choice. So it's not about the educated or not educated, developed or not developed countries. It's an individual, how much that person is aware of the health conscious. Okay. So I'm not just saying just one country especially. Okay. So like in Scotland, when we were there, one professor was saying Scottish people are foolish. Why? They grow salmon, they eat only meat, fillet. They don't eat head or skin or anything. So head and skin, they send to Thailand and Vietnam. Why? They have to throw that because people don't eat. But people in Thailand, China, Vietnam, they like head and skin because head and skin are the one where you have a more omega-3. Fat is there. People pay more money for salmon in Europe, but they eat only fillet, that the muscle, mainly protein. Maybe omega-3 is there, but most omega-3 is on the head and then belly part, fat that is not eaten. So this is happening even in Scotland or UK, okay? Highly educated people. So the food habit, culture, these things are affecting a lot of things, okay? So many people don't like fish. Now, compared to rohu and tilapia, it depends on which country. Like in Thailand, they don't like rohu, they choose tilapia. In America, Europe, they don't like any carp. They like more tilapia or even pangasius, something. So it's a culture. So if the culture root is there, it is difficult to uproot the culture, okay? Uproot that tradition. So tradition is so strong, like what we have the caste system. It's so difficult to abolish that, right? Very similar way, many things are cultural things. So it takes time unless new generation understand and then follow and try to change. So it takes it is taking longer than expected, let's say, anyway. So now even government is okay to support tilapia farming, although directly it has not been approved or whatever. But if the farms grow, nobody will come and stop that, I guess. Hatcheries have been given subsidy even from pangasius. Imagine if farmers don't get the seed from Bangladesh coming through Calcutta, farmers cannot grow. That's why we tried even, I think USAID, Ogle, Suresh Ogleji also there. USAID project sent 3 people here for developing this hatchery system of pangasius. Even we sent broody stock from Thailand to them. I think they are growing. They should be producing a hatchery seed now. They know the system. They have been trained here. So I think Savita Jha herself was one of the trainees, I guess. Then I see the potential here. This pangasius, if hatchery can be established, and imagine if the hatchery you can manage, you can run, one brood fish can give you like 1 million eggs. Similarly, tilapia hatcheries are earning here $10,000 a day. Which business can give you that much profit? Okay. And another species we are trying is a macrobacterium freshwater, giant freshwater prawn. That has a potential. We sent earlier like one batch from here. I drove myself in the midnight and take the post larvae from a farmer and give to the cargo company to the airport, because it has to catch Thai airline flight 10:30, something like that. So that batch, farmers also grew that macrobacterium and then they sold to Saura's market hotels, and also some of them they ate themselves, and they're looking for next batch. But we say we cannot supply every year. Somebody has to do the breeding there, so nobody has done yet. So we are trying to do. Whether it will be successful, let's see. If we can produce prawn, shrimp, even shrimp can be grown in fresh water. Okay, so many things people have tried here, which can be utilized. These things. That's why I suggest all the time, people come here and you'll see. Although last 4 or 5 years, many people from ministry have come here, and I give time to them how market is working, how these technologies are working here, and I don't know anybody take a lead to do anything there. That is the question. Okay, that's why sometimes training may not work. Something has to be done, like a post-training monitoring. Maybe necessary for the Nepal government to see if somebody is paid to go to Europe, something should be happening there out of that. Otherwise, what is the meaning of paying for that person to go there? So it is taking time, because there are so many other problems, like the way people think agriculture as a poor man's. If you don't get any job, then you do agriculture, something like that. So agriculture has to be established as a profitable business, and teachers have to teach. So example, we have examples. Some fish farmers are driving a car in Nepal also. So make that as a topic for teaching for the students, so that the students can learn and visit their farms and see how farmers are doing it, even in Nepal. So there are so many things, but problem is maybe teachers do not have fun to organize travel or visit or something. So that's the problem. And I've been telling teachers have to bring some projects to generate a fund. There are plenty of funds around. If they can write a proposal, compete within a country. Nowadays, for so many funding is available there, but it's all about the leadership actually.
Dr. Bhujel, I want to stop you here, and I got one more question. The last but not the least question is, I think it's a very important question. He asked you if, like, is the cost of good quality pellet feed that is not available in abundance hindering the production of fish in Nepal? Like, he asked about the quality feed available in Nepal. So, what's your view on this?
Yeah, every country has that problem. What happens is actually producing only fish feed, it may not be profitable yet. What they do, chicken companies, chicken feed mills will produce fish feed also. but they may not understand clearly what fish need. That's why somehow they try to make a pellets, okay? And pelletizing, making floating pellets cost a little bit extra money. That's why the cost of feed becomes higher. That's why there are always problem in most of the countries. Unless they have a long-term experience, and then how to make these things cheaper, and then also raw materials. Maybe they have to buy from India, or even from other countries coming to India, then to Nepal, so it becomes expensive. So we have to think simply fertilizing the pond, making water green, tilapia, carp can grow. Pangasius need pellets, but tilapia and carps do not need much pellets. So managing the pond, even we teach here, using chicken manure or using urea, even TSP or DAP, whatever, phosphorus fertilizer also can be managed that way. That's why there are a lot of options. So farmers' point of view, they think, oh, fish need pellets. That's why they think is expensive and cannot support. But there are a number of ways. Like in India, big ponds in Andhra Pradesh where they grow big rohu, they don't feed actually. So ultimately from Andhra Pradesh coming maybe 9 or 10 ton to Kathmandu. So people need to know the technology is available. Without feeding also is manageable. Even in Thailand they used to do, even now, the farmer who is making 3 million baht, means about 1 crore rupee per year, let's say. By having 2 ponds, he's not feeding actually. He's using some waste material from the factories, like a brewer's waste, one Ajinomoto factory waste, and then even chicken feed. It's still possible to produce. So it's not necessary to use pellets. Pellets is used or are necessary if you grow the fish in tank under the covered area where phytoplankton cannot grow. So there are things need to understand, people need to understand. That is the problem, like a government has to plan, categorize the farmer, what type of farms are there, and train according to their needs. Somebody wants to do biofloc, create a biofloc group, and then train for that only. Create trout farming, probably they are doing already for the trout. But other things, tilapia farming, they have to do that way, okay? So need a good planning. That's the way. Otherwise, if the government is not doing just giving subsidy, then even there is a way. What about the NGOs? What about the private sectors can run the training? There are many training companies which may see the potential for training agriculture or aquaculture also. So it requires so many things, not just like a government alone also cannot do, right? And then farmers alone also cannot do. So they need to work together. So ultimately, you need actually some sort of leadership in different sectors actually, okay?
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Bhujel, for your detailed information about the global perspectives of aquaculture business and potentials and scope in context of Nepal. I would like to thank on behalf of me and NAFSA for your time, and I want to thank all the participants for making their time and joining us in our today's session. As Dr. Bhujel already mentioned, we have tremendous potential of aquaculture business in Nepal, and also like in this present scenario of COVID-19 pandemic. After that, further, we have a very good potential and scope for the development of aquaculture in context of Nepal. We will expect a same kind of seminars in coming days too. And I want to thank everyone for their time. We already spent like more than 4 hours today, and we hadn't really expect the program will go this long. And I want to thank once again all the panelists, and I'm really sorry for those for whom I cannot manage time for their insights. And thank you very much for joining us. We will see you again Thank you very much, Dr. Bhujel. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you to you all for listening. I hope you enjoy and get some information that you need. But anytime, if anybody has a very practical question or anything that you need, you can write me email or message, whatever. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhujel sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sir.
We have received so many best wishes and thanks to Dr. Bhujel. And I just want to convey on behalf of every participant to our speaker for today. It was a very detailed and a very informative sessions for all the aspirants who are looking forward to do aquaculture business in Nepal and around the world. Thank you very much, sir. We hope to see you again.
Okay, thank you.